cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman, from the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
All right, peoples, what's going on, everybody? It's the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror coming at you live with episode 30. Yeah, it's kind of a milestone, I would say.
It's a mild milestone.
What you mean now? Starting off with all right. What are you?
I know my brain's a little scrambled right now. I don't know what's going on, but I am your host Moodz 616, and I've got, of course, my hetero life mates with me every single week. We got NES Ruler 22 and the homeboy DoubleshotJ. What's up, homies? Yeah.
What's going on? How's it going? How was everybody's Halloween?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This year's Halloween was very odd to me. I'm not gonna lie. It was weird because I was at home handing out candy, eating butter chicken, drinking shock tops, and watching films. I didn't go out.
Shock tops?
Man, I don't even understand what was going on. It's like the weirdest thing. There was parties going on and I was at home and I guess that means I'm getting old. I don't know. No,
probably. Shock tops.
Shock top is a Belgian beer. Oh. It's fucking delicious.
How much I drink.
It doesn't sound delicious.
Oh, dude, it's so good, man. Even the wife was like, man, this beer is awesome. Anything Belgian's really good in my opinion, but.
You get a lot of trick-or-treaters?
Actually, no.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, I live in a neighborhood that doesn't really have a whole lot of kids. We have a fair amount, but they seem to skip our house for some weird reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the way we're located.
Don't go to the weird horror collector's house.
Yeah, exactly right. But we only had about 15. And
do you guys decorate? Like outside of your house?
Not really, no. We've been so busy this year, we didn't really do much this year at all. Even with that said, I was at home and I was just busy right up into the point where trick-or-treaters were even coming to the house. So didn't get a whole lot done, but with that said, like we had 15 trick-or-treaters and my sister who lives, about 3 blocks away had about 45 to 50. So I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. So there's a big difference. What was you giving out? I was giving out, mini chocolate bars and Maynards.
Come on, man. Where's the king size shit?
The king size.
They don't do that shit around here.
But honestly, we were giving out like handfuls, like straight up handfuls.
Oh, so that's all right then. At least
the kids were getting. Oh yeah, like 15 kids. We went through like over like 100 pieces of candy, so that was not bad.
I actually got 0 trick or treaters at my house.
Do you live out in the country though, right?
Not really. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Is there anything called trick or treaters by you?
What do you mean?
Are there any trick or treaters by you? Period.
Yeah, like a mile away is like a huge patch. Like no, not even a mile. Like like 2/3 of a mile. And they just don't really come up here because like we live on top of like a giant ass hill, and like nobody really comes up here. But
well, that makes sense. Like, what kind of kid wants to walk up the hill for like a couple chocolate bars? He's like, "Fuck it, I'll stay down at the bowl area and gather up my shit."
You mean
down
a couple pennies?
Pennies.
Maybe a few razor blades.
Some candy corn.
Did you actually go out and buy candy?
No, nobody comes.
Oh, you did. So even if they came to the house, you actually were giving them pennies.
No, actually, you know what? My gram did buy a bowl of like a bag of Kit Kat like white chocolate bars, or like they're orange or something. And I did notice that the bowl was empty, so maybe they did come, and I just didn't realize it. You just reminded me about that.
Interesting.
You have a mouth. Why don't you ask?
But no, I was probably at work doing it or something. I work on the weekends and stuff. So, yeah, but I didn't really do anything on Halloween. I actually just recorded my Body Bags review, which that movie was awful, by the way. And I just kind of watched some Titan FC and fell asleep because I had to work all early and shit the next day.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I recorded, long ass DVD update. Of course, it was just ridiculous.
With all my shit in there.
Yeah, it was so stupid. Like in my last update, I told people, I'm like, "Okay, next update, it's not going to be that big. It's going to be pretty minor. I'm going to force myself not to pick up that much stuff." Yeah, this time around, it turns out that this was probably the biggest Blu-ray update I've ever had. I had like 37 Blu-rays in this, and I had 79 DVDs.
Oh my god.
I was like, what is wrong with me?
Well, 25 came from me, so.
Yeah, and like, I'm just like, holy fuck, man. I have a serious ass problem. But what really pissed me off is that I recorded this Blu-ray update, had it all done, and the fucking video didn't even record. So that was 30 minutes wasted out of my life. Then I had to rip to Future Shop, grab a new fucking card because my card was broken, redo this, but yeah, I still had fun doing it. Whatever.
That's why you have backups.
Yeah, the thing is, I do, and I couldn't find. I have like a smaller one, like the one I use in my camera is a 32 gig one, and I do have a couple. Like I have a 16 gig, and I have a couple 4s. I couldn't find any of them. I don't know what happened to them, so I'm still looking for them.
I have 3 32s and an 8.
Yeah, so I mean, you always need those backups and lesson learned. But I mean, I guess the other card that broke kind of still does work, but I don't know. So since none of us really did anything last night too exciting, are you guys attending parties tonight? Because it seems like most of the Halloween parties that I know of are actually going on the day after Halloween.
I'm going to Rocky Horror tonight. I was going to go yesterday. It's like, I don't want to go downtown on Halloween. That doesn't sound fun. So I'm going tonight.
There was a big party last night. Of course, I didn't go because I had to work. I'm not doing anything tonight. I got to work again tomorrow, and I'm on like a 6-day stretch right now. So I'm getting a little tired, so I'm just going to probably watch Invicta FC is on tonight. All female fighting, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Halloween only falls on Friday, like every 7 years, or whatever. So it was very interesting that there was so minor things going on last night. Everyone's kind of celebrating. It does make more sense to have the parties on Saturday though, because more people don't work on Sundays. So I am going to a party tonight, and I don't even know. Like it's one of these, go to kind of like it's like a hall type party with a whole pile of people you don't know. Now these type of parties to me are always kind of like hit and miss, because I am going with a group of people, but it's like us. And, sometimes when you go to these parties, do you ever find yourself, it's like you guys kind of sit around in your little circle and everyone's kind of doing their own little things, and it just turns out to be
awkward.
That type of party.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we got pretty cool costumes though, actually.
What are you being?
I am
all you got to do is put on a freaking flannel shirt and you can be a lumberjack. Look at your beard. You got the beard.
I actually have a Jack Skeleton costume from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Emo much?
Black and white. Are you going to paint your face white?
It's actually a mask. It's like a fucking... It's a
fucking stupid.
Well, fuck, man. I just don't have the patience to paint my fucking face and shit. No, actually the costume is like totally like legit. It was actually pretty expensive. But yeah, and the wife is
on DVDs, man.
Whatever. Wife paid for it.
That's
but and she's dressing up like Chucky. So
why wouldn't she be the
Sally
girl? Yeah,
she actually was going to, but we couldn't actually find the costume. It was kind of annoying. So
damn.
Chucky, does she have the overalls and the?
But to be honest, we're kind of sick of going as like a couple, like let's do our own type of thing.
Yeah,
It seems like it's kind of cliched every year. It's like, hey, what are you guys going as? Oh, you guys are going as Michelangelo and Raphael. Oh, fuck, Jesus. It's like, come on. I don't know why that would be a couple.
Well, how's her Chucky costume?
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Well, just something that goes together.
Now, if you was Tiffany and she was Chucky, that would be funny.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious. Get the blonde wig.
That's good shit. But yeah, so I don't know. The party tonight, I'm not overly excited. I'm excited to hang out with people, but I don't know about these parties. Who knows?
I hate parties.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't hate parties, but
we'll see how this goes. Like I said, it's just sometimes they're awkward, but sometimes they're fun. Who knows? They're hit and miss.
Well, does Erin have a Chucky mask?
She does.
Does it look shitty?
A little bit, yeah.
Is it like stitched up Chucky?
It's kind of like a combination of both. It's weird. It's weird. I'll show you. It's weird. I don't know. I don't really like the material on her mask. Mine's fucking hotter than hell. I think I'm going to have to like drink through a straw tonight, which is just bad for everybody, really.
Beer through a straw. That's just.
Oh, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. But, I don't know, man. Next week I'll report on how the party went and stuff. So I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, JP, we got some news.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Hi, America. Phone calls are pouring into the New York One newsroom as a
I can honestly tell you that I've never seen anything as shocking as what was
just hours
discovered
ago,
earlier
police
today.
arrested 3 obsessed movie fans who allegedly committed a series of ritualistic murders after watching last summer's blockbuster movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Absolutely. As you know, we skipped last week's news, so it kind of piled up a bit. So I kind of weeded through and picked out the ones that were less important, and we got a good solid chunk of news still here. First up, this was kind of a big topic the other week, and that is Cabin Fever is being remade freshly off of Cabin Fever 3. So what the hell is up with this, guys?
Why does it need to be done?
That isn't the only question that you should be asking.
Yes.
Why are they using the original script?
Yeah, what are they doing? Are they just doing Psycho, but with Cabin Fever?
That's what I said, right? I was like, this could give Gus Van Sant's Psycho a run for its money.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's funny? That everybody said the same thing. It's like, soon as everyone read that article, it's like, wow, this is totally going to be Psycho.
Yeah.
It's funny how everyone had the same reaction. But, okay, let's try to put some logic behind this. Why would you use the exact same script as the original film? Like, what are you gaining from this?
I can't figure it out. It's obvious, like, okay, everything is usually obviously a cash-in, alright? But at least some people some producers try to disguise it as something else. Like, you can't even disguise this. Like, you were literally, like, not wanting to pay, like, a writer to write the next sequel. I mean, they just did Cabin Fever 3, right? Like,
okay, and this is actually one of the problems I have with that too. So, Patient Zero gets released, and then shortly after they announce this remake that's literally just going to be the exact same film as the original, right after the sequel. What, like, I don't really understand it with the timing. I don't understand the timing. Like, I could see if Cabin Fever, Patient Zero was made, say this is a totally different timeline, but say 10 years ago. Yeah. Right? And all of a sudden they're just like, let's not do a sequel, let's remake this. But why right after a sequel? I mean...
Yeah, well, how long...
The timing seems very
Cabin
odd.
Fever come out 11 years ago, right?
2003.
Why the hell are they remaking a movie that's only fucking 11 years old?
Well... I mean, we've seen that done before and stuff like that, but the really just mind-boggling thing is that, Eli Roth is producing it and they're using his original script. I'm hoping that was some sort of, like, mistake when they reported this or something, or maybe they said they was gonna modify his original script and it got lost in translation, but for some reason, I just feel like that's what they're doing. They're just going to take his script and they're going to, recast it and shoot the same movie again.
It's so fucking stupid.
When I first read the article, I took it as, okay, now they're using Eli Roth's original script. And the way I interpreted that was his original script was the one that wasn't used as the script for the original Cabin.
That could actually be what it means, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the way I read it. And I read it again and I was like, I don't really know if that's what they mean. I think they might be using the original as the exact script that they used from Cabin Fever. And I was like, oh my God, this is a bad idea.
if Cabin Fever was like a, like studio film and like Roth made it and there was a bunch of studio intervention and stuff, like it would make sense, right? Like they want to remake it and use the original intended script. But since it was an independent film and it was picked up by Lionsgate, I think, it makes no sense because there probably wasn't no like intervening if it was an independent film back then.
Look at Cabin Fever 2 though. Even that film got, there's still an original script out there for that film.
Yeah, well, Adam Green worked on that original, one of the copies. of the script.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is just like stupid news. I don't know, man. I can anybody take it seriously? And
I haven't heard one person say, "Hey, this is a good idea."
Because it's stupid.
It's been pretty negative feedback, and it just doesn't. I mean, I'm just trying to make sense of it. To be honest, like I said, the timeline with remaking this film right after another sequel comes out doesn't make any sense, and then of course it doesn't make even more sense with that script thing.
Yeah,
I just don't understand the point of this.
And it's not even like it's like an unknown movie. People know about it, so it's like
no, it's a huge like hit, right? I mean, Cabin Fever is one of the better films of that era.
Yeah, people know about it. It's not like it's some low budget independent film. It's like people.
Yeah, one of the well known, kind of mainstream films and stuff. It definitely is up there. People know. So I think it's.
This film kind of helped kickstart horror again. I mean, 2003, we was just leaving the 90s, and stuff like Chainsaw Remake and this in 2003 kind of like kickstarted horror again. Cabin Fever, I've said it on the podcast. It's one of the films that got me back into horror. When I seen it, I was just like, man, that was really awesome. It seemed, original for the time. Now we've seen so many damn infected films, disease type horror. But I mean, it was gross, and it was mainstream for the most part. Started out and played the festival circuits and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it had a wide theatrical release after that.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, and it was gross, right? The leg saving. I mean, when people talk about gore, sometimes they bring up the leg shaving scene and the, fingering scene, and, it's nasty, gross stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and then Cabin Fever 2 happened, and that one just. Ugh, that movie still makes me gag, man. That's fucking gross. There's some nasty fucking parts in that film. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Are there nasty parts in part 3 too, are there?
There is. It's pretty gory. It's fun. It's fun. But I don't know, man. I wish they would just get rid of this whole notion of remaking Cabin Fever and just fucking keep making sequels. I mean, okay, they've managed to do this with the Wrong Turn series. They're still, like JP said, they're still numbering the fucking sequels.
Which is amazing to me because I love that.
And as far as I know, I've never heard a report of, hey, let's remake Wrong Turn. No, they're putting out sequels every couple of years, which is a good thing. And to be honest, they're still pretty damn good.
Speaking of Wrong Turn, didn't it come out in 2003 also?
Yeah, 2002, 2003, somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah. Also Cabin Fever Remake actually started principal photography in Portland. So, yep.
Oy.
Yeah, Wrong Turn did come out in 2003. Good call.
Nice. So, I mean, obviously, we think this is stupid. Most people think it's stupid. And I'm actually gonna bust out laughing if I see the trailer and it looks exactly the same as the original Cabin Fever. It's gonna be actually funny to see that. What if they cut the trailer the same too?
Fuck, I don't know. I think it's just really bad for the industry, like remaking a film with the exact same script. I mean, this has been done before, shot for shot, psycho, blah blah blah. I just don't think this is the way shit should be going, man.
It hasn't been done since because it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And if anything, this might be a good thing. It might scare people away from remakes in general if this bombs.
It's gonna bomb.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do well.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay, so after that, Fox has ordered a new TV series called Scream Queens. And this is going to be a comedy horror anthology series. It revolves around a college campus, which
Did you
is
say
rock.
Fox?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fox? Yes.
The most Republican network.
Oh God.
Which is rocked by a series of murders. They ordered a 15 1-hour episodes, and it's set to premiere in the fall of 2015. Going into production in the spring, and it is going to be on Fox.
Wow, 15 1-hour episodes?
Yeah, that's a weird thing,
really
right? Because it's usually 10 to 13-ish.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because a lot of, pilot a lot of these shows will be half an hour, and
it's
shorter.
Gonna do good.
Well, actually, most times with pilot or pilot seasons, they are 6 episodes. We've seen that with big shows like Breaking Bad.
Well, Walking Dead is a perfect
Walking
example.
Dead. Yeah, a lot of shows do that nowadays. So it's funny that they like have so much confidence in this show to do 15 one-hour episodes.
I'm a little confused though. Fox. I mean, this idea sounds like something that would be good for, I don't know, HBO. You know?
It sounds awful to me because they used one word that completely ruined it for me when I read it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that word is?
No. Fox?
Comedy.
Oh, comedy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they even label it comedy horror, not horror comedy.
That actually makes a lot more sense now. Being on Fox, of course, you know. Yeah. If it was horror comedy, I guess you'd probably be leaning towards maybe El-Ray or other than FX or something like that, HBO.
Yeah.
But
Speaking
Fox
of El-Ray,
horror, yeah.
I love El-Ray, dude. I've been like switching to that channel a lot, just like when I'm, you know, doing something and I'm just trying to have something on in the background. I just love the whole style of that channel. It's literally just like this cool like throwback type of style that used to be on like Monster Vision or something on TNT.
Monster Vision.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, like I really like that channel. I hope more people watch it just so like it can be successful. So yeah, Scream Queens, what do you like, or would any of you two be looking forward to that?
No, because it's on Fox.
Yeah.
And Fox is a major network, so it probably means it's not going to be very good.
Moodz, you think that it's going to be bad also?
Well, you know, like I said, it's Fox.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What else is on Fox? See, like, you guys obviously know something about Fox that I don't, because I don't really get what yins are saying.
Well, I mean, they're just not going to be, you know, as extreme as we probably want it to be.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
You know, I think it's going to just have those type of elements where it's just, I don't know, man. If they're stressing like comedy horror, I don't know. I think it has potential to be decent or really, really bad. So.
Yeah, but one word also that got me kind of interested is it's an anthology series.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing that I kind of like, wow, anthology. But I don't know, the Fox was throwing me off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
who knows, man? I don't know. Fox has had good shows in the past. I don't
animated shows. They're not like known for like their live action shows.
That's actually a good point. Totally better animated shows than live action. But I don't know, man. I guess we'd have to kind of judge it when it comes out and see how it does and whatnot. But I do like the idea of anthology. I mean, we've been talking about this for so long, and actually, didn't we just talk about this a couple weeks ago with you know, all these networks putting out, all these new not new networks, but all these networks putting out these new horror themed TV shows. And there's a lot of different types of, you know, subgenres of these horror shows. And I was like, well, what's lacking here is they need an anthology show. Of course, Fox goes and they must have listened to it. I mean, it's quite obvious that the people from Fox were listening to the podcast because, you know, we're that big, right? So
it actually says that in the press release also.
Just of course it does. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think I'll wait for it to come out and actually watch it and see how it does. I mean, there's been shows on, you know, CBC and stuff and these networks where they don't really do a lot of extreme type things on TV that have done really well, you know, in the past.
You know, something else that's weird about this is that they're 1 hour episodes, yet it's an anthology show.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard too. That's
like a whole movie.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested just to see what it is.
Maybe it's like Master of Horrors.
You know what I think is going to make this show though is if they have like good directors doing the episodes and good people that you want to see on the screen.
Like Masters of Horrors.
Exactly like Masters of Horror. I mean, obviously it's not going to be that extreme.
No.
You know, some of those episodes would not be able to play on Fox, obviously. But yeah, I think how they develop it's going to sell it, you know, based on cast and directors and stuff. So.
Yep. All right. Next up, there was an interview on bloodydisgusting.com with Rob Zombie. And I just took a few little sections from that interview. But you could read it yourself. It's a, you know, semi-lengthy interview. interesting stuff hearing Rob talk about different topics, but the stuff I pulled was about 31, his new horror film. Obviously, we've talked about it a couple times now. And he says, the script is finished. That's been done for a long time. I'll still mess with it, but essentially it's done. We're waiting for this crowdfunding to be done, and then we're looking to start full production early next year if everything goes according to plan. So, it looks like it's moving forward, and I'm pretty sure that crowdfunding thing was successful. He does talk a bit about it in the article, the interview, and he said that he was a little bit hesitant to do it because he didn't really know much about it, and he said that he wanted to make it more of like a store, like people are, buying stuff and they're supporting the film instead of just stealing people's money. He said something along the lines of that, and he said that would be pathetic or something.
Yeah.
So
we talked about that.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. And then he goes on to say, I would say out of all my films, this is going to be the most brutal. It's pretty intense, it's pretty humorless, and it's pretty all out. That humorless thing is great. I'm like hearing that. I think that even, I'm like, comedy in my horror occasionally. I just think that it's almost everything has a lot of, like, nothing is purely horror anymore. Like, there's always, even if it's brief scenes of comic relief, it feels like there's nothing that's straight intense horror anymore that comes out, and it kind of annoys me.
You sound like one of those extreme elitists, man. Come on. Oh, I'm just fucking with you.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think nowadays with, society being as fucked up as it is, I think a little comedy here and there is always good for people. But I understand where you're coming from.
I agree too that yes, I do like those films too, but I'm just saying, why is there like zero of the other ones? Like, I want a fair mix. It just feels like, okay, let's take Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? The original. There's like no comedy in that movie. Now, you can take The Cook and The Hitchhiker and find funny things in there when you've seen it a couple of times, because it's very, very dark humor. But that movie is so serious that there's no really room for comedy. And I look at Devil's Rejects and say the same thing. Yeah, Captain Spaulding says funny things, but it's not in a funny way. It's actually in a like scary, dark way.
I've never seen Captain Spaulding as a funny character. He's always been a fucked up guy.
Well, yeah, because pretty much everything he's saying is, it's leaning towards something. Yeah. He's a badass motherfucker. He's not a comedian. So, even though he kind of looks like one.
I'm super
I love
excited
Captain
for this
Spaulding.
film.
He's awesome.
Oh, fuck, dude. The way he delivers his lines in that film are just priceless.
I hope he makes a cameo somewhere, like in the background.
Oh, dude, it's a Rob Zombie film.
I know.
Oh, you mean the character himself, not Sid Haig. Okay, I got you. No, but really, like, this film is probably my most anticipated film of whenever it comes out. Because, I don't know, I just like the concept art that came out. It looks almost like it might be like a Purge-style thing set on Halloween. And what did we say about The Purge? Fantastic concept, but poorly executed. Rob Zombie, on the other hand, can you imagine how gritty and just like disturbing and disgusting he can make? I'm picturing it just like this like night, like Halloween Eve or like Halloween night, where shit just like goes crazy or something. I don't really know what it's about, but just
I don't think anybody knows what it's about.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, it's forcing people to reserve their judgments until that motherfucker comes out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think it's going to be
Rob Zombie.
I think it's going to be Rob Zombie. I mean, I hope it's a combination of like everything that he's doing that he's done, like that real gritty House of a Thousand Corpses mixed with like, I don't know, Lords. I don't know, man. I'm expecting it to be very Rob Zombie and good. Yep. I mean, I'm a supporter, so.
Yeah. I'm super excited for this one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have a bit of, I guess, more stupid news. So,
Yes.
The Scream series has officially been ordered. It's going through, which I thought this already happened, but apparently not. MTV is
MTV
with the Weinstein Company, Dimension, but here goes something a little weird. First of all, the story follows something about a YouTube video that goes viral and like some kind of killer stuff, but
that was based off one of mine.
But listen to this stuff, dude. So apparently somebody actually owns the rights to the image of Ghostface. So as of right now, there is no Ghostface in this.
Wait, how could someone own the image to Ghostface?
I don't know.
How does Weinstein or Wesley Craven doesn't own it?
Well, Wesley Craven definitely wouldn't own it, but
no, he wouldn't. No, wouldn't it be
Dimension?
Yeah, I mean, you think it would be Dimension for sure?
Apparently,
they would want to copyright that.
Apparently not. Maybe they licensed it for the film.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, because the image used on screen, the actual Ghostface mask, was already licensed. It was a mask that they literally pulled off a shelf.
Yeah, remember, right? Because they say in the documentary that they were looking for a mask forever, and they were looking for a house to shoot in, and they just walked upstairs, and in one of the kids' rooms, that mask was sitting there.
That's right. And there was someone made that.
Yeah.
And had it actually copyrighted. So, yeah. And they basically licensed it out for the films.
Wow.
Interesting.
So,
that's
what
very interesting.
Don't you guys think that Scream is Ghostface, though? I mean...
Just a little bit.
Obviously, it's about the killers and stuff, but, I mean, what? It just feels like... It feels like such a part of the series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how they can license it for the films, but they can't license it for the TV show.
That's also, maybe it's a money thing. Maybe they can license it. Maybe they had a deal that specifically stated for films. You know, there's stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, you would probably have to rewrite up a contract and, bring it to that person that owns it and be like, hey, and maybe they're just asking way too much money and they just don't want to do it because it is TV, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably not, they don't have the funds like,
but it's on MTV though.
Yeah, but MTV is still pretty budget though.
MTV's not like an AMC network or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that what they said was that Ghostface is not part of this series, but that doesn't mean he couldn't be in the future.
It's fucking
Why not
bizarre.
just call it something else then?
It's kind of like...
Well, they're not calling it Ghostface. If they was calling it Ghostface...
No.
And there was no Ghostface.
It's going to be the same thing that happened with Halloween 3. People are going to expect to see Ghostface, and then they're going to be pissed off that he's not there.
It's kind of like Friday the 13th series without Jason.
Yeah.
Not like that, really. I mean, it's kind of like that, but that is way bigger because Jason was like Ghostface is obviously a lot of different people, right? Jason is one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is weird. I don't know. After that, we have James Wan is actually returning to horror, so he lied and said that, he was done with horror. And he's actually coming back for The Conjuring 2, which was actually pushed back due to waiting on James Wan. It was originally supposed to come out, I forget exactly when, but now it's being pushed back so that James Wan can return. He says that he was editing Fast and Furious 7, and his brain started sparking ideas for a Conjuring sequel. Taking a break from horror allowed him to have creative rejuvenation, and he's excited to tell the story of the next case file of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
I mean that sounds so natural though.
Yeah.
I mean, generally when I'm editing a really, shitty car action film, I totally conjure up.
Dustin Mills is going to be mad at you.
Oh,
there
was a double. You missed the double. He said he conjures up.
Yeah.
And I conjure up these ideas for, horror films and stuff. So, it's just so natural, really. No, I'm just joking. I mean, if people like those films, that's cool. I'm not a big fan at all of...
Why? If you like action films, why don't you like that? It's the same shit as every other action film.
No. I'm not a big car action film fan. Like those the wrong term films. Fuck, what am I saying? Fast and the Fury films that are all based around fast cars and racing and shit like that. I'm just not a big fan. Like, I like fucking, Arnold Schwarzenegger shoot 'em up, fucking ridiculous Dolph Lundgren, commando type action films, ones that aren't necessarily ripping around in fucking, foreign cars and shit like that. It's not really my thing, to be honest.
Yeah. So, this is probably best case scenario for me, because a lot of people were pissed at James Wan and they wanted to hold him back. I was happy for him, dude. He got a huge deal with that Fast and the Furious movie. That is a big franchise and they make a lot of money. He got a fat paycheck from that. He proved himself in regular Hollywood if this is successful. And now he's coming back to where he started and where his heart is, or should be, in my opinion. And I'm happy for him. I really like James Wan, and I think he is kind of the future of this genre. He's done so much already, and I'm always excited for anything that he does. So awesome, James Wan. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see him back for it. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. After that, we have a bit of weird news, and I'm not quite sure what this actually means. Critters series? ?
Can we already talk about this, Lat?
What?
I swear we already... Oh, Critters. We talked about Tremors.
This kid. Don't listen to him, guys.
It sounds the fucking same. Critters and Tremors. It's like the same.
Tremors and Tremors.
Nothing alike.
They both end in...
I think I vaguely heard something about this Critters
They
thing.
both end in what? R?
Fuck you, JP.
Technically being S.
It's RS. So, this is going to be a Warner Brothers produced digital content division that will roll out short forms of content? What? Including Mortal Kombat series, and the new division is called Blue Ribbon Content, and one of their things that are in the work is Critters, the series,
okay.
or something.
I understand the translation. All that translates to fucking shitty. Right there.
Can you break it down a little bit?
Seriously?
More?
Seriously?
Confused.
Okay, if you're gonna make something sound that technical in your description, it's you're covering up for something.
Why not
which
just call
is
it like
just
digital series?
Yeah, a big fucking pile of shit.
Yeah, why don't you just call it like digital series like Netflix does? Why didn't they like name it all this stupid shit?
Yeah, that's a ridiculous
I see where you're
description
coming
of it.
from.
Yeah.
So wait, this is going to be like I'm still confused.
Is it going to be like an online series or?
What are they?
That's
I
kind
don't
of what
understand what they mean about a short. Is it going to be like a web fucking series?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I gathered from that.
Yeah.
Through that mumble jumble of fucking
like Netflix series, but it's going to be for Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
No, because a Netflix series is an actual series that is on Netflix. These are like short films, or they're like short, web series are usually like 2 to 10 minutes or like 2 to 15 minutes or something. Is it going to be like that? Because that's awful.
I don't even see the point of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to do like little webisodes and stuff, like I don't really get
for Critters too. Like
unless it's leading up to something, but digital series makes more sense. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret it.
Well, it is written by the people who did Teen Titans Go.
Okay,
that makes it so much better. Thanks, JP.
What the fuck is Teen Titans?
I think it's like an animated show.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So is that what they're leaning towards?
I actually think it's a comic book.
I swore it was on a TV.
So Critters is going to be like an animated webisodes, maybe?
Who the hell knows, dude? I don't know. More as we learn more, I guess. After that...
It was an animated show.
After that, we have Don Mancini, who was recently talking about Child's Play. I guess he's still working on that next Child's Play film, but he said that he had an idea for Child's Play set on a train.
What?
That's not the worst idea in the world.
It's like, why not just send him to space next?
Yeah, but I mean, I like the claustrophobic thing, like about films set on trains, but
Child's Play,
and Chucky, because he can just like when you look at Terror Train and like how's the killer like moving about, he has on like different masks and stuff that were like from the party goers, but Chucky can just stop and sit there. You know what I mean? Like when somebody comes, because he's a fucking doll. So I mean, it could work, right?
Is there actually a storyline to this? Like why they're stuck? Are they stuck on a runaway train, or are they stuck on a possessed train? I don't know.
I don't know if they're stuck at all. They could just be on the destination, and Chucky's like slashing them up.
It actually doesn't sound that bad. I like anything to do with trains and stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
Chucky on a train, though.
Like I said, I think it makes sense because
whatever. I mean,
he's a doll, so he could just stop moving when he can navigate through the train easily.
I mean, let's face it. I'd rather see Chucky on a train than in space.
I'd rather see Chucky anywhere, so I'll watch it anyway.
See?
Yeah, I think a train is a good idea. I mean, it didn't necessarily work too well for Jason Takes Manhattan, although those scenes were pretty cool on the
You could go in a trailer park, I'll still fucking watch it. Really doesn't matter, I'll watch it anyway.
What if he was battling Freddy?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Because Don Mancini also went on to say and I've heard him say this before, like he seems to really want to do this. His pitch for Freddy vs. Chucky is Child's Play on Elm Street. Chucky ends up at some kid's house on Elm Street, and Chucky and Freddy inevitably meet in the dreamscape. Chucky sleeps. Why not? Chucky sleeps. Chucky dreams, and they have...
but that's bullshit, though. Chucky doesn't need to sleep. He's a fucking doll.
Chucky would
He's
get his ass
also
kicked.
human.
Get his ass kicked.
I guess.
But they realize quickly that Elm Street isn't big enough for the two of them, so they riff on Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and they have a contest who can kill the most teenagers before the sun comes up.
I was going to say, I thought it was going to be like Chucky versus Freddy. I was like, Freddy would kick Chucky's ass in 2 seconds.
That is too good. They have to get Johnny Depp back for that one.
Yeah.
Right there.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd rather
honestly...
see Chucky versus Leprechaun.
That makes a lot more fucking sense because they're about the same height.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No.
It's like
I
Chucky
never
versus,
liked that idea.
Chucky versus Freddy. That's just weird.
I think it would work if you said it with like wisecracking Freddy, because they're both wisecracking like funny guys. Mm-hmm. So imagine them like ripping on each other. You know what I'm saying? But I don't necessarily want to see that film. I'm just saying if it happened.
It's Chucky's.
Okay, going back to the part where you said where Elm Street's not big enough for Freddy and Chucky, what is fucking Elm Street, a cul-de-sac or something? Just a little mini street? I don't get it. How is it not big enough for the two of them? Fuck off.
Because just like it wasn't big enough for Freddy and Jason, right? I mean, that's the whole reason they fought, is because Jason wouldn't stop killing all Freddy's fresh souls.
Yeah, but I don't know. That makes sense, I guess.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Like, Freddy would destroy Chucky.
Oh, yeah. 2 seconds.
And it has nothing to do with size.
Oh, yeah. Freddy's just Freddy. I mean, fuck. He's got knives on his fingers, man.
All he's got to do is just go in Chucky's eyes and go, there you go. Game over. Now you can't see. Then he's just going to kick him. And that's the end.
Don Mancini, let me just give you a word of advice. Just write the next Child's Play. Don't make it gimmicky. Just write a new fucking Chucky movie, dude. It's all good.
Yeah, I agree.
The last one did good, so.
Now, if you want to bring up like Freddy versus Jason 2, I would be down with that. So, I'm looking at you, Sean S. Cunningham.
Wonder why they never made a sequel to that.
Cunningham.
My best friend, come on.
Oh man,
I have his number. I could call him. We hang out all the time.
You know what? It actually is truly amazing that there has never been a sequel to Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah. I know.
It is actually kind of crazy that nobody's really pushed for it and done it. It's pretty wild. But maybe one day.
Without Robert Englund.
Actually, we're more likely to see a remake of Freddy vs. Jason before a sequel.
The same exact script.
Same exact script, everything. Yeah.
I don't think Robert will come back.
Yeah, so after that we have a update on the Trick or Treat director, Michael Dougherty. He's making a film called Krampus, correct? And he is an evil Santa Claus, right? That's like kind of what Krampus is.
Yes.
They're basically pushing this from the November 25th release date of 2015 to the December 4th release date of 2015.
That's a whole year away.
Yes. So this film is, based on the ancient legend about a pagan demon who punishes the wicked. My only beef with it is that, of course, it's this isn't a beef. It's an anthology, which I love. Let's have the director of one of the best anthologies, the best holiday anthology. Let's have him do another holiday anthology, but this time with Christmas. Mm-hmm. So that's a fantastic idea. My only problem is it's a goddamn horror comedy. Why?
Well, Trick or Treat had some comedic aspects.
I would never call Trick or Treat a horror comedy.
I didn't say it was a horror comedy.
Yeah, but this is a horror comedy.
Yeah, I mean, the Trick or Treat was never meant to be a comedy, but no, there's funny parts.
There's a difference between having funny parts and being a horror comedy.
Oh, completely.
Oh, yeah.
Completely. I don't know, maybe because it's Christmas, people need to associate comedy with, I don't know. Fuck, I don't get
I'm
that
just
whole
getting
idea
so
either.
fucking tired of horror comedies. I really am, dude. It's actually starting to annoy me. Every time I see something sound awesome, it's like, I'll read the synopsis, I'll be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And then it's like, this will be a horror comedy. And I'm like, why? Why? You had a great synopsis for a horror film. Guess what wasn't a horror comedy? Black Christmas. And guess what is awesome? Black Christmas. Mm-hmm. Why, man? I mean, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't think that's a horror comedy. That movie would have terrified me as a kid, especially the first scene with his old grandpa or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and his mom getting totally fucking raped and murdered. I mean, that's not very comedic.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's not that I hate them, because I don't. I love a lot of horror comedies. Return of the Living Dead is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I'm just burnt out on. It just feels like that's all I see anymore is horror comedies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely is a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see a little more serious, especially with holiday, like Christmas. I mean, does it necessarily need to be funny? No.
But let's just look at Black Christmas, right? Super damn serious. It's played completely serious. Mm-hmm. And that film is amazing. Like, you love that film, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't we make a scary Christmas film anymore? Christmas horror film.
I mean, there is quite a few, though. I mean, Christmas Evil is not a comedy at all.
Let's talk about ones that have come out in the past 10 years. Christmas horror films. A Cadaver Christmas. I love it, but it's a goddamn comedy.
Has there even been that many Christmas horror films that come out? Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch that came out.
The opening scene in Santa's Sleigh is fucking hilarious.
I would have to see a list to...
Yeah, but my point is, it's just like, I want a dark, Christmas horror film.
Rare Exports.
Is that really a horror film, though?
It's not necessarily a horror film. I would lump it in there. But it's a great film. It's not a comedy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's an odd film. It's an odd film, but it's really, really good.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just when I think of like Christmas horror films, I think of like Black Christmas, like this just dark Christmas tale. Of course there's Gremlins and shit, which I love. It's my favorite Christmas horror film, but I want a straightforward, serious Christmas horror film. Really bad.
Mm-hmm. So make one.
Okay. I'll get right on that.
There was another one that I did last year in my my 25 days of Christmas horror, Caesar and Otto's Deadly Christmas. That's definitely a comedy, but it's actually pretty fucking funny.
And you can tell by the title.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. I'm trying to think of ones that came out in the last 10 years that aren't. There isn't really a whole lot. Most of them are meant to be comedies.
What's that IFC one? Saint Nick. Is that comedy? I haven't seen it yet.
No, it's not a comedy.
Good. I just bought it. I'll watch that one.
I mean, you got Dead End that it takes place on Christmas.
Yeah.
That movie's good. That movie's all right.
Yeah. I love Dead End. That is a highly underrated film.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. P2, I guess.
P2 is another one that takes place on Christmas Eve. I mean, yeah,
there's a few, but I don't know. I was just really looking forward to this one until I realized it's a horror comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a shame.
I'm still looking forward to it, though, because I really like Michael Dougherty. I like what he did with Trick or Treat. And I have, I mean, it could still be a good movie. It's just that I want something else right now. Like, I'm in the mood for some I want the next Black Christmas to come out. You know what I mean?
I want to see, like, another really sleazy film like Don't Open Till Christmas. That movie's sleazy fun. Great. And it's not a comedy.
All right.
Great.
So, next up, we have an update on the news that we reported back a little while ago. Where they was talking about the Chainsaw prequel, and they were going after a few different directors. It has officially been announced that the directors will be the duo who created Inside, along with other things.
Oh, so that's what they decided?
Yes. I think that is a fantastic choice, because from what I heard about Inside, it's pretty violent.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty dark.
Yep.
It's pretty mean-spirited.
Yep.
And it's pretty... Is it gritty?
Yep.
Maybe? Okay. That sounds like a good Chainsaw film to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what a Chainsaw film should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly, like something like Inside. I mean, not like Inside, but,
like
the fact
Inside.
of it. Yeah.
Chainsaw should be less like Chainsaw 4 and more like the original Texas Chainsaw 3D.
You and Texas Chainsaw 3D, JP.
Yeah.
You sure love that film, man.
I kid. I almost, like, you guys have made me like it even more because everybody hates it so much.
I never said I hated the film. I don't think it's...
I don't hate the film.
Wait till we
I don't think
eventually
it's
do a Chainsaw show, and I'm going to blow your mind when I defend this film, and you guys will be like, yep, you were right. This is actually a quality Chainsaw film.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna blow your mind by saying Part 3 is my favorite in the franchise.
Anyway,
Part 4.
Anyway,
I'm just joking.
All right, I was about to say.
You know that's not true.
I was hoping, but I mean.
Hey, yeah, my favorite Halloween is Halloween Resurrection. Yeah,
how does
Chainsaw
make it into my top?
Yeah,
how does the original TCM make it into my top 30 films of all time, and then Part 3 not be there? Right.
Yeah.
So, obviously,
I guess so. So yeah, I think that's great news. I'm really excited about this. I get excited when a new Chainsaw comes out, and I'm potentially more excited about this one than I was about 3D, simply because this one's starting off in a great direction. When 3D was announced, it was a sequel to the original, which was a good direction, but then they announced like Trey songs and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I mean, oh man, I can't wait. I literally can't wait. I love when this type of news gets announced. I'm really excited. I could be let down, but and a prequel to the original, it's obviously going to be set in it's going to be a period piece, which that sounds great to me. And
you would hope it's going to be. I mean, if this is a prequel and it's set in the modern times,
yeah, they're going to pull a Texas Chainsaw 3D again.
Well, then they would have just said. Then they would have just said, but the time period, they didn't really fuck up the time period. Yeah, it's wrong, but it's not like they like completely like altered the universe or something. It's still Chainsaw. Like,
yeah, we'll get to this down the road.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm excited. What can I say? Also, we have a Hellraiser update. Last time we talked about this, I believe it was last season on the show, we talked about Clive Barker throwing in his script to the Weinstein Bros. Yeah. And we got an update. Clive Barker was quoted saying, "I think the phrase is reboot, although I've never really understood what that meant." He says, "I wanted to make sure we sounded some fresh notes." That's what it says. I don't know. The movie actually begins on Devil's Island. I wanted to fold it into the Hellraiser narrative. Something about the guy, the Frenchman, Lamachat. What's his name? Lamont. What? You know what I'm talking about? The guy who created the box.
Yeah.
He's, he made the mysterious box which Pinhead rises from. He figured, well, what would have happened to him? So that's kind of where the story is taking place. Devil's Island, that's probably in the book, maybe. I'm not sure. He said it was a cool place to start the film, and he's waiting to hear back from Bob, and he's waiting for him to say we're going to actually make the movie. And then I did hear from the site that reported this, I think it was Bloody Disgusting, that remember a while back why Hellraiser Revelations came out, right?
No.
Moodz?
Yeah.
Do you remember why it came out like that?
Why they didn't have Doug Bradley and stuff? Is that what we're...
No. So the reason Hellraiser Revelations was made...
Oh, because of the rights thing.
Yes, because if they don't make... It's in like the contract or whatever.
Yeah.
If they don't make a film every so many years... And that makes sense why we've seen so many films in the Hellraiser franchise that weren't really Hellraiser films because they were trying to hold on to the rights.
Yeah.
So they have to pump out a new film in order to maintain ownership of the rights. So
what is it like if they don't pump out a film in say every couple years, the rights expire and then they lose them?
And they go back to the original owner of the rights, who I'm not sure who that is. But basically, I think what they were getting at is the rights are going to be coming up again, so it might be time to actually get this off the ground. The expiration date. So let's see, dude. Hellraiser. I don't care if it's a reboot or remake or what. If Clive Barker's doing it, shit, dude. I think that it has unlimited potential because he creates worlds that just are impossible to create. I don't really know how it happens. Like, he just makes up shit that he has no reference to. It's like he has he has direct contact to another universe or something.
That's the writer in him though, man. That's what writers do. They come up with these amazing concepts and ideas, but yeah, I mean, it's good news. It's really good news. So it's not actually going to be a remake. It's just a reboot. I've always not cared which term you use because to me it's all the same. You're just taking the story and redoing it. Okay. Remake.
Yeah. So remake, redo, reboot, whatever you want to call it. I mean, but it sounds like he's already, trying to change it a bit by, starting it out as a prequel at the beginning of the film, which is cool because where the hell did that damn box come from? Yeah. So next up we have Olive Films. They have partnered with Slasher Video. And when I originally posted this news, I was like, aren't these, shot on video films? And Moodz confirmed that because, they're releasing shot on video films on Blu-ray.
I don't understand the Blu-ray though. I mean, was it referring to all the films or just some of the newer ones that they're filming? Like Trashology is one of the newest films released by Slasher Video. Well,
the thing is,
that's not shot on video. It's shot digitally, but most of their older, the films Death Nurse and all those films and stuff, those are shot on video.
Yeah, but why is Olive releasing them? That's so weird. It's such a random company.
So I have all of the films that they're releasing. So, all of films Slasher Video will release the 1984 cult classic Satan's Blade Tuesday, February 24th, 2015. That's going to be their first release under.
Yeah, I know that was the only one that I knew for sure that was coming on Blu-ray because it hasn't been even released yet. But that's awesome.
Okay, so I have the other ones too. Death Nurse 2, Cemetery Sisters, Trashology, Boarding House, Splatter, Architects of Fear, and Cinco de Mayo.
Man, I got some quality films there.
I have, it's funny. I have all those movies.
Is that Cinco de Mayo movie, Moods, the one you talked about that one time?
I think so. Yeah.
About that crazy guy?
Yeah, it's about the teacher that starts going a little nutty on the holiday Cinco de Mayo. It's actually one of the newer films. That and Trashology are actually new films. All the other ones listed there are old. Death Nurse 1 and 2, Boarding House, obviously. the Splatter Architects of Fear is fantastic. It's like a fake documentary. It's basically like an effects film. They're showing how they're making these effects, and they're making like this fake. It's actually really fucking entertaining, man. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's so 80s and fun. It's really cool, actually. But, yeah. I'm a little confused by the whole. If these ones are coming to Blu-ray, I don't get how they're going to look any better. They're shot on video for the most part, except for like the newer ones. I could see them doing something with those ones. But I mean, it doesn't make me want to upgrade my DVDs
that's
to
not
Blu-rays.
The greatest partnership that, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just not really that into them. So
yeah, I don't like shot on video either.
I don't not like shot on video because sometimes I find that shot on video stuff has this charm to it that these newer independent films does not have. And it might be like nostalgia or even just whatever.
I think the thing is with a lot of these newer type films that are kind of trying to be like that era, because they're trying a little too hard to be like that. With these movies that were coming out in the 80s were, they were trying to make a film. They weren't necessarily trying to make it a piece of shit.
Yeah. You were exactly right. And I say this all the time.
So then you see like Boarding House come out and you're like, oh man, you watch it nowadays. You're like, fuck, that movie's, it's so bad. It's good. It's actually really,
it's like Redneck Zombies.
Yeah. And shit like that. Like now you're making films a little too much on the purpose side of making a shitty film for the sakes of making a shitty film. And hopefully people like it. And that's the thing I like about the Polonia brothers from back in the 80s and stuff too. Like their films have so much charm, and they did everything themselves. They acted, they directed, they wrote, shit like that. And
which films?
Splatter Farm. They're probably most famous for Splatter Farm. Yeah. That one's really famous. It was released by, totally blank on the company right now. But yeah, the Polonia brothers have done lots of pretty good stuff, and it just had that charm to it, Yeah. But I don't know. Getting back to the whole Blu-ray thing, I just don't understand how these movies could look any better because you can't really upgrade.
Digitize them.
Yeah, the quality. In fact, I've heard that if you try to, put these films in the 1080p or whatever, it actually lowers the quality of them. So I don't know how good they're gonna. It is really weird. So I don't really understand how this is gonna work. Mm-hmm. But it's very, good on Slasher Video if it works for them because, they're getting out there and stuff. But
yeah, but I also don't really understand if they are just releasing them on DVD, why?
Yeah, I would assume it's just for the distribution fact. Like all of films has a lot more distribution. So they can get their films into other places. Like Slasher Video was basically being sold like on their website, and they had like a seller on Amazon. Like Slasher Video was a seller on Amazon and eBay. Like you could buy stuff straight from them. So it was very independent. I think with all of their getting a distribution. So maybe in the future you'll see Death Nurse and Death Nurse 2 and Boarding House. Maybe Barnes and Nobles or HMV or something. Who knows? And it's quite possible because you see all of films in those places. Yeah. Right, so that's where the distribution is going to. So obviously, it's a deal to get their shit out there.
The only one of those films I'm familiar with at all is Death Nurse, and simply because I looked up some clips, that movie seems awful.
Oh God, Death Nurse is pretty bad. Death Nurse 2 is even worse because they rehash a lot of the footage from the first one
and just like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
It's worse. It's even worse than that. I know Steve actually. I'm pretty sure Steve has reviewed both those on Body Bags.
Yeah, I think so.
Steve's like a huge shot on video freak too. But yeah, just thinking of Death Nurse 2. Even Steve said in his review, he's like, man, it is really bad. So, yeah.
Okay. After that, Image Entertainment grabs Adam Green's Digging Up the Marrow. I'm super pumped for this one. I love anything Adam Green does, and this one sounds extremely interesting to me. It's kind of like real life in a film type thing. Like Adam Green plays Adam Green. I believe the story has somewhat to do with the crazy amount of fan mail that Adam Green gets. He once got a letter that said that Victor Crowley is a real person. It went into great detail about why he's a real person, and the person who wrote the letter said that he can prove it and all this. So it kind of sparked an idea, like, what if people wrote that, like, about monsters that exist, and they can prove it and stuff, and what if Adam Green's character, Adam Green, shot a documentary about exploring what these guys are, coming up with. So I think that's cool. Kind of like the story, which is very original, so I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds cool.
Yep. So no word on when that's actually going to be released, but I believe they are going to try to get a foreign deal next, and then we'll probably hear more about that.
Cool.
After that, we have the October Society. Epic Pictures Group announced that they will collaborate to finance a new horror anthology named Tales of Halloween. And this is 11 directors. There is a bunch of guys that we know in there. The directors the guy who just did Almost Human, which was good. Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saw 2, 3, and 4.
That Carnival movie we were talking about last week, or 2 weeks ago.
I believe the guy who did Night of the Demons remake, the guy who did the Never Sleep Again documentary, the guy who did The Descent, the guy who did Big Ass Spider, or Spida, as I like to call it, the guy who did The Hills Run Red, the guy who did Abominable, and the guy who did Stay at Home Dad, and also the guy who did Grace.
Yeah, there's some pretty good stuff in there.
Yeah. I love The Hills Run Red, man.
Yeah. Good stuff.
This is such an under talked about slasher film.
Okay, I'm getting a little honestly, this isn't a rip on anthology films. It's just kind of like the way they're structuring anthology films nowadays. I like the idea of ABCs of Death with 26 different directors. Obviously, I like the whole concept of it, but
I don't.
In my opinion, it's a little tiresome because it's a little too long and stuff. But the way I see anthology films, the way that I think that they're supposed to be, you're supposed to have a wraparound story. Mm-hmm. Basically with this idea of Tales from Halloween, it's cool. You got 11 shorts. Okay, whatever. But it basically just turns into a compilation video.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Is it really an anthology? No.
Well, they actually did say something about, they set forth I forget the word they used, some sort of word, where they're following these strict guidelines that the tales have to do with Halloween itself or something like that. It seemed like they were talking about really kind of making it, about Halloween or something.
But okay, I mean, honestly, if you want to do a project like this, you have 11 people, why don't you guys all work together and try to, put everything together with a wraparound story? How fucking cool would that be?
Yeah.
11 shorts, and it actually has a wraparound story, and everything kind of makes sense. And, a true anthology film should have a wraparound story. That's just my opinion, but I really do stick by that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily absolutely need a wraparound story. Look at Creepshow, where it's just a small little wraparound story. I think that works.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, at least it's something though. At least it adds something to it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Basically, if you have 11 different shorts or 26 or whatever it may be, and no wraparound story, it just turns into a compilation video.
Yeah, I agree that there has to be something there. If it's a group of kids telling ghost stories, like the Willies or something.
And that's a perfect example, of it's got this story, and then, those are true anthology films, like Campfire Stories and stuff. Anything that starts out with telling stories and you go into these shorts and it kind of comes back to it. And, I like that. I like that feeling where, even when the shorts kind of mix into each other. I mean, obviously Trick or Treat's kind of the exception, where it's just, in my opinion, it's the most perfect anthology film ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fucking brilliantly executed, and they don't even. It's actually, it plays out like an entire film.
Yeah, it's like
not
an
even done in
anthology
sections.
Plus.
It is, man.
It just feels like it's more.
Yeah, it's such a fucking thought out film. It's crazy. I was watching it again last night when we were handing out candy and shit. I'm just like, man, everything about this movie is just brilliant, and it got me thinking about anthologies. And I was actually watching an interview with Dave, Mr. Parker, that Tom the Wolfman did on his channel. I don't know if you guys watched that interview.
No.
Anyway, it got posted on YouTube and on our group page and stuff, but I watched the interview with Dave, and Dave's working on an anthology film right now called Slime Little Bastards. And it's 3 shorts, and he actually
that's an anthology film. It's like,
yeah,
that's what I don't like about ABC's The Death 2 and this one, because you're gonna have, you know, too many bad ones that are gonna make it shitty, and then it's gonna make the experience bad.
You find that the bad are outweighing the good a lot.
That's like, I'll talk about ABC's The Death 2 in a little bit, but it's like, ugh.
My thing is, we don't know for sure that there won't be a wraparound story. That's a lot of directors for, you know, it does seem a little short heavy, like the shorts will be very tiny and, you know, stuff like that, but we don't know for sure. Maybe they'll do something that totally surprises us. I like the cast of directors. I mean, all of those guys have done, you know, something.
I'm not bashing the directors or anything. Even ABC's of Death has good directors. I'm just saying that if you have too many, the bad are going to outweigh the good, and that's just a problem. Why can't they just have...
That's not necessarily true, though, because it's still possible everybody makes a good short.
11 good shorts? I highly doubt that.
I mean, I do agree. Like, there's potential to have a lot of good ones and maybe more better ones than bad ones, but the whole point of what I brought up was just the point of the wraparound.
Yes.
And getting back to the Dave interview, he's doing his first film right now. And it's called Slimy Little Bastards, and he even has Dustin Mills in it, which is actually kind of cool because they kind of reversed roles right there. He got to cover him in blood. But the point is, he even brought up in the interview that an anthology film to him needs a wraparound story. An anthology film isn't an anthology film unless you have a wraparound, because that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah,
right?
You're kind of right, actually, the more that I think about it, because if not, it's just a short compilation.
Yep.
Exactly. And I thought it was so cool because Dave has always talked about in his videos for years how much he loves anthology films. And I thought it was so cool that his first film was actually going to be one. And he right there, like, I need a wraparound story.
That's cool that he's making a film.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's pretty cool.
Even if you do something like Body Bags, right, where you just have something going on that introduces each short.
Exactly.
Tales from the Hood. Yeah.
Even All Hallows Eve has a wraparound story.
But to be honest, Tales from the Hood has a pretty cool wraparound story.
It does. It actually really the wraparound story is actually really good in Tales from the Hood.
Yeah. Great stuff. But another perfect example of something that really does work, you know?
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. It is currently in pre-production and will begin to shoot during November. So we'll probably see it sooner rather than later. After that, Synapse announced that they're going to be releasing a Bigfoot film, and it is Creature from Black Lake. Have anyone seen this? Because the cover art or the theatrical poster from whenever this film was released looks really awesome.
I'm sorry, I totally spaced on that. What was that?
Creature from Black Lake, which is going to be released by Synapse in 2015. Have you seen that film before? Because I really like the original poster.
Is it a new film or is it an old film?
It's an old film.
It's an old film. It's actually a film I've never seen before. No.
Has it ever been released?
You know what? I'm not sure. At first, I was trying to look up some info on it, and I was thinking maybe it was like one of those public domain films, but it's not. There's a bunch of films with similar names. I don't know if it has a release, but this is good news though. Synapse, everything they put out. The problem is that there's Bigfoot films are notoriously known for not having any good films in that genre. Now, is it possible that there's this good one that slipped under the radar for all these years? I hope. I really hope. But chances are probably not. But I love the cover, so I'm really hoping that this is cool.
Like, I walked into Family Video yesterday, and I looked at the $1.50 movies first, and I saw like 6 new Bigfoot films.
Yeah, there's actually
and they all look
like...
And they all look like, and they all look like complete shit. So I was like, oh, these look terrible. So I go to the outer wall and I started walking around looking at all the newer movies, and I still saw like 7 Bigfoot films. I was like, what's up with all these Bigfoot films? I mean, they're not ghostly bad, but it's like,
and the funny thing is,
crazy.
And like 90% of those Bigfoot films are found footage.
Yeah.
It's the only way they can make,
which actually makes a little bit of sense, right?
It does make sense, but but the problem is, like I've talked about this before with these type of films, that they keep making the same one over and over again. There's nothing really added to the stories and stuff.
But the thing is, to me, it doesn't even seem hard to make a good Bigfoot film. Like, I think they would be done by now. Like, it's an easy story to tell. You can really make it scary, right? I mean, if you play this super seriously, you can make a Bigfoot film scary. And I always wanted to see a good Bigfoot film, and just there's not very many of them.
And JP, I see your next 3 movies. Get onto that shit. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot harder than it sounds, JP.
Well, I mean, for me, yeah, it's like impossible. But
not even for anybody. Hard to come up with a good idea like that.
What, a good idea for a Bigfoot film?
A scary Bigfoot film.
It's all about the suspense, right? I mean, if you have somebody who's really good at suspense, but the problem is the films that we see are done in like an amateurish way when you're dealing with Bigfoot films. If you get somebody who's talented to direct a Bigfoot film, I really do think it could work.
Why not just make a Bigfoot in one of those anthology films?
That could work too.
Yeah.
A little Bigfoot story. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that like you have so much to work with doing like the Bigfoot story, that it seems like it wouldn't be that hard that we would have a good one by now. I'm not saying it's easy to make. I'm just saying with all the ones that we've seen, like why isn't there like this iconic, like super well known, like good Bigfoot movie that, I mean, they've been making them since the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, The Legend of Boggy Creek, I guess, is kind of like the most probably known one. Yeah. That one has like mixed opinions on it, though. Some people like it, some people don't. But you're right, though. There isn't like really one huge
good one
stick out, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or Yeti film, or whatever you want to call them. But when I do think of, Bigfoot films, I do think of The Legend of Boggy Creek, though.
Yeah.
It's always the first thing I think of.
I mean, if you can make a really good, dark, scary werewolf film, like why hasn't there been a Bigfoot film? It's kind of like you're doing the same thing, you just have a different creature.
I do think most of the good ones, or most of the ones that I've known or seen, have come out in the 70s.
Yeah.
Creature from Black Lake came out in 1976, so it was like right in the middle of like about 100,000 of them that came out in the 70s, because they were just apeshit crazy over the Bigfoots back in those days. But so I mean, it has potential, I guess. There's some decent ones, but there isn't like that bona fide one, with certain subgenres of horror. When you think of
I mean, you look at any subgenre and there's these standout bona fide gems that are in that genre, but I don't know of a Bigfoot one, and it just surprises me because it's similar to other genres that you can make scary and dark, and it just, why hasn't there been one?
Yeah.
I think my favorite Bigfoot film of all time is Night of the Demon. I actually just talked about this in a video of my favorite films from 1980. It's it's absolutely completely ridiculous, but it's a fun film. It's basically just Bigfoot slasher film. Bigfoot's going around picking off people, ripping off penises. It's a fucking good one.
Peniles.
It's such a funny movie.
So the last bit of news is Scream Factory. Their last announcement for October, their Shocktober celebration, was Destroyer, which will be teamed up with Scarecrows in another double pack. And, it was a bit anticlimactic for sure, because we was expecting Scream Factory to drop like a bomb at the end of October. Apparently, their deals didn't go through, so they couldn't announce anything else after this one. Maybe it was something big. Maybe they didn't even have anything big. But either way, it was disappointing.
Yeah, didn't they announce that they had some deals that just weren't closed up and stuff?
Yeah, which
kind of a shame.
Which, I mean, everybody gave them shit for announcing Hellhole before they had everything locked up, so they're probably starting to be, more careful with what they announce.
Where's the fuck's clown house, Scream Factory, you assholes?
That whole Hellhole thing that sucked, because I was really looking forward to that release, man.
Fucking no clown house.
Lesson learned, though. Yeah,
hey.
I'd rather have them announce nothing than announce something and pull it back.
JP, you missed the biggest announcement of the week.
Is it that stupid Arrow Video announcement?
Paul Rubens announced a new Pee-wee movie. Come on. How could you not have that in the news?
How could I have that in the news?
Come on.
Which was the Arrow one, the Vincent Price box set?
I guess that happened too, I guess.
Yeah.
It was the Society and Reanimate, or Bride of Reanimator.
Yeah.
Got Pee-wee.
Yeah, so there's a little bonus news right there. It doesn't interest me because I don't buy Imports, yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Arrow releasing Society, that's pretty cool, but I mean, it's probably just gonna get released by someone over here.
Yeah.
How it goes.
Scream Factory.
So I do import some of their films, but
I see that being a Twilight Times movie. Society.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Yeah, it's a strange movie. I could see them releasing.
So that is that it for the news?
Yeah, that's it.
That is it for the news. Wow, there wasn't actually that much.
We just talked about it for a while.
Yeah, so I was actually expecting there to be a shit ton more, like of major announcements and stuff, but whatever.
Especially yesterday. It's like Friday, it's Halloween. It's like,
yeah.
Wasn't that much.
Yeah.
All right, guys, getting into Mood Swings here, and that means new releases for November 4th, 2014. And I've got to say, I think October stole all the films, for that month, man, because there's really nothing coming out in the beginning of November, which does make a lot of sense because, in this horror world, you want your releases in October. So with that said, I know Universal is it Universal that's releasing? Universal is releasing American Werewolf in London, Psycho, and Shaun of the Dead with these limited covers. I think
is this the same bullshit that's just a piece of cardboard in front?
I hope not, because I saw the Child's Play Blu-ray cover at Walmart, and I was so mad because that's the coolest fucking cover I've ever seen in my life. I wish they actually reprint them instead of putting that stupid cardboard thing in front.
Well, I'm assuming that there's going to be Amory cases of these two, maybe with slipcovers, but these
are steelbooks, dude.
These editions are actually steelbooks. So this is the cover art they're going to get. I think if they do release these in Amorys, I don't know, maybe it's a different cover art too, but yeah, these are all steelbooks.
That's cool.
Yeah, actually, the Psycho one's kind of a cool cover. I don't really care for the American Werewolf in London.
I like it,
and I would never buy the Shaun of the Dead one.
Yeah, I'm buying that American Werewolf in London one because I don't own that film.
Me neither.
I wonder if it has the documentary and stuff that comes on the other one. It should. I hope it does. That's a fucking good documentary. As for the Psycho Steel,
it does look like it has a bunch of interviews, or not interviews, but special features. So I'm sure it's there.
Okay, well that's good.
Making of the it's there.
Okay, yeah, it's a really good documentary, really informative.
Oh, yeah, Psycho does have a cool cover. It's like the shower drain. Yeah,
I like
cool.
it. Yeah, I like it. So for all you Steelbook fans out there, if you want to pick up those,
and they're $11, they're cheap.
Yeah, really fucking cheap. But yeah, I think Psycho's probably the only one I'll be grabbing. Yeah, Shaun of the Dead. That cover sucks too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I'm not really feeling that cover, but yeah. Anyways, from Scream Factory, Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings is coming out this Tuesday. I think it's listed on here. I don't know. We've got different release dates in the foreign land of Canada and the US.
And it actually was pushed back at one time, so we don't know if this is the date or it's going to be put. It's like still. I'm confused.
Moodz says his already shipped, so I just think that's the day.
Oddly enough, I can't get anything from Amazon except for apparently Pumpkinhead, which has the most mixed release date ever. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, Pumpkinhead 2 is coming out. Then we got a film that I've heard some people actually say is pretty good and creepy. That is The Taking of Deborah Logan. Again, this is obviously one of these possession films.
Wait. I heard somebody talk to me about that movie in one of my classes.
I actually like the cover to this one.
I've heard about that.
I don't really care for the cover that much, to be honest, but I did hear some people say it's pretty decent for one of these possession type films or the take, whatever that it is. But I don't know. These ones I never really get overly excited to watch. I don't know about you guys.
Either.
Hell no, dude.
Really?
No.
You really asked me that?
And when someone actually says that it's pretty good and coming from, a source where you trust, it gets me intrigued. They're like, oh.
What is my least favorite subgenre of horror?
Possession films?
Possession films.
My least favorite genre is becoming horror comedies, easily. I don't know. I'm just getting burnt out on them, to be honest. But, you know, Ghostlies, Possession, all that stuff is actually probably my least favorite, even though horror comedies are getting on my nerves.
Possession, man. They're so oversaturated. Ugh.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I don't watch a lot of, you know, the newer Possession films, so I can't even say that I really hate it. It just doesn't interest me enough, so.
See, but I actually like Possession more than Ghost. Because at least when you're dealing with Possession, it seems to be a slightly more hardcore. With Ghost, it's usually like a lot of just like doors shutting and shit. Yeah. But like once the demon starts like being, you know, in there, at least there's like some weird contortion and like, you know, maybe some blood and scars and burns and stuff like that. But I mean, Ghosts are just, god damn, they are so annoying sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of misses with Ghost films, but there is a lot of good ones though too.
Nobody will go hardcore like The Entity.
No. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to bring that one up when we were talking about rape revenge films, but that's not really a rape revenge film.
There's no revenge because
that is a good rape film.
We all know the ending on that one, and I don't think there was ever any revenge.
I forgot about that film. I should have brought that one up.
Did you bring up Miss 45?
Oh yeah.
Man,
I thought we should have watched that one instead of I Spit on Your Grave. But...
Oh, Miss 45 is just.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think it might be.
But that movie is more about revenge than it is rape. But.
The reason that they went to I Spit on Your Grave is because it is the quintessential rape revenge film. Like that is the film.
Well, Last House on the Left.
I Spit on Your Grave even more so.
Yeah.
All right, next up here from Brain Damage Films, we got Dead Girls. I don't know. It's Brain Damage Films. Seek it out at your own will.
Now, if this was a sequel to Dead Girl, I might check it out.
Well, that's another good rape revenge film.
I guess
it actually is.
I never actually thought of that. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, Dead Girls, I don't know. It's Brain Damage Films, so.
Teeth is a good rape revenge film.
Really? I think that's an objection film more than a rape. Or the monstrous feminine type of a film more than.
It's still a rape revenge film. She gets raped and she gets revenge.
Yeah.
Theoretically, yeah. All right, so this is the one that I was really pumped about talking about here. I'm not too sure who released this one. It actually doesn't even say, which is very... No, it does. Oh my god, of course it is. This is released by Midnight Releases, and it's called Ghost Bride.
It's our ghostly for the week, guys.
Ghost Bride.
I almost shit when I saw this one here. It looks
quite ghostly, too.
Yeah.
It really does. Actually, the cover's not too bad.
Like, I've been, once again, back in Family Video, like, I refuse to buy Brain Damage or Midnight Release films anymore. Like, I picked them up in the beginning, but now there's 8 of them out at a time, and every time I pick them up, they just look like complete garbage, and I just, I don't even want to spend $1 on them, because they just
Midnight Releases is a weird company, because sometimes their films are...
Well, look at that Shovel one that just came out that is supposed to be good. Or is that Brain Damage?
I'm not sure, but they put out different quality type films. Like some are really, really micro budget, and then you pick one, you pop in another one, you're like, wow, the quality is not what I was expecting. It's a lot higher. They kind of range, man. It's very odd. Same with Brain Damage is like that too. Some of the newer Brain Damage films that have been coming out are a lot better quality, a lot better looking and stuff. It's pretty interesting. But Ghost Bride, honestly, could you not come up with a better tagline? Till Death Do Us Part? Really?
Oh, I have a movie called Till Death Do Us Part.
Yeah, that
movie
movie
2014.
That movie fucking sucks. I talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, Till Death Do Us Part. Really, that tagline is just not very original. All right, moving along here. Sci-Fi vs. Horror 6 movie pack. Wow.
This Echo Bridge?
This cover,
Gotta be Echo Bridge. Or Mill Creek.
It is 100% Echo Bridge. Yeah. 100% Echo Bridge. And what we have on here, sci-fi films. For sci-fi, we got AVH, Alien vs. Hunter.
That's what is that company called that does the
Asylum?
Asylum, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it totally is, yeah. I Am Omega.
Also Asylum.
Yeah, these are all Asylum films.
And 2103, The Deadly Wake. That's for the sci-fi part. And then the horror part, we got Awaken the Dead, The Unwelcomed, and Ominous. Ooh.
That's actually an interesting idea if it wasn't awful films.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about this release, though, it shows this alien type predator creature on the cover versus Jason.
Jason?
Oh my god, that reminds me. Hold up. I know that cover you're talking about, but check this out. You know the actual cover to 28 Days Later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They literally took that exact cover and made it say 28 hours of horror or something like that. But there's fucking, it's crazy, dude. They literally ripped that cover off at Walmart. I seen it. It's like a 28 hour horror marathon pack.
Oh yeah, here it is, 28 hours of horror.
Look at that cover.
Oh my god, they did.
It's literally the cover. They just literally took the cover.
How did they not get sued?
Because I was like, yes.
Crazy. All right, so that's very odd.
No, seriously, I was like, 28 Days Later. Like, I picked it up. I was like, yeah, I was just looking at it and I was like, this ain't 28 Days Later.
Shit. All right, so moving along here, we got The Doctor and the Devils from Scream Factory out on Blu-ray.
19 movies on 4 discs.
Nice. Looking forward to this release. I've actually never seen this film before. It's from 86 or something like that. Or it's from the 80s, but looking forward to The Doctor and the Devils. Then we got another Blu-ray release called The Ninth Configuration. I've actually never heard of this movie at all. It's got Stacy Keach in it, which is a good start. William Peter Blatty's. Wow. I'm assuming that he wrote this. I should probably do some research before I'm, announcing these. But
sound like me now.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that one, but it doesn't actually look that bad. And then we got another film called GPS.
Are you serious?
That sounds pretty shitty already.
Oh man, it's so funny. Okay, it's GPS the movie, and it actually has won a bunch of best awards at film festivals.
Are they real festivals?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. The tagline is "The hunt is on."
Are they? Are they even like? Is there any notable festivals?
Okay, let me see here. We have Without a Box.
What the fuck's that?
Whoa, what the fuck? It says Best Action Film. Okay, that's weird. And then Tacoma Film Festival, so this is done in Washington. Best Local Film, and official selection AOF, Best Visual Effects. I don't know.
None of those matter at all.
No, so it's very misleading.
Absolutely.
I love if it says award winner on the top, and it's all these little known. That's why I love with trailers. You get the shittiest Adam Sandler movie, and it's this is the best romantic comedy of the year, and then you look at who said that. It's just some random dude that they found.
It's just some dude in a bar.
Awesome.
Trust me, I tracked one of those guys down.
All right,
you see, he was still sitting there.
Nice.
Texas Chainsaw 3D. This is the best movie of the year. Justin Patrick.
So that is actually going to do it for the releases that I have. JP, if you have any more, feel free to add to it. There's fuck all for November 4th.
I don't have any else. Next week looks a little better, but
yeah, it's picking up. There's actually quite a few good releases on November 11th. So, there's actually a shit ton.
Okay, so we'll get to those next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. So, what do we got next time?
JP?
Yeah.
Actually, we have one voicemail. Guys, get your voicemails in. We want to hear them. We want to play them, and we want to talk about them. So, this is the only one we have.
Hey. What is top 5 serial killers? Well, I want to end this stupid call. I guess I'm not saying.
Okay, so I'm actually not sure who that was, but I think it might have been Mike from the group page asking us our top 5 serial killers. He didn't specify if he meant real serial killers or serial killers in films, but he sounded like a serial killer, real life one. So if that is Mike, you are now Creepy Mike. Say your name when you call. Anybody who calls, just so we know.
Creepy Mike?
Yeah.
JP.
So Creepy Mike, our top 5 favorite serial killers. Moodz.
I don't know how you could have a top 5 favorite serial killer.
Well, it's, I don't know,
likes
man.
serial killers?
I do.
I
spent so much time in high school. I think anybody who's into horror had that phase where they sat there and like researched all the like real life killers. Like I would do it all the time. I would make all these reports on like Ed Gein.
He's my favorite.
You know, yeah. I was honestly the exact same way.
Yeah.
You know, back in high school, like I honestly, you guys probably can't see right behind me, but I fucking have a lot of books on serial killers. Like it was one of those things that you just wanted to read up because it was interesting. Like how the fuck did this person, you know, kill all these people and then go fuck their dead bodies or eat them or fucking bury and just go on with their everyday lives. Like it was fascinating.
Yes.
You know,
yes, absolutely.
And this is the list that I came up with here is based. I basically thought of the first 5 people that I was obsessed with. Like I thought that their lives and stuff and what they were doing was very intriguing.
The Gacy murders happened like 40 minutes away from me. Yeah. It's like it's fucked.
All right, so number 5 on my list here is Dennis Rader, also known as the BTK killer. This guy was interesting because he fucked around with cops for fucking 30 years, never got caught, or he eventually did get caught, but for so long nobody knew who the fuck this guy was, and
he was the Zodiac killer.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean he didn't,
but he never
completely get away with it. But the bind torture killer whole aspect of him was intriguing. What he was doing because of what he stood for. Like he was like this everyday type of neighborhood churchgoer. He was a businessman. Like he had a family, a wife, kids. Like he lived a very, very normal life. That's why I find this guy so intriguing, that he would do these horrific things over such a long period of time and get away with it. Very intriguing killer. Been lots of movies, not really a lot of good ones on the BTK killer, but I don't know. He's an interesting character. John Wayne Gacy at number 4. He was an interesting one too. Obviously everybody knows about him. Jeffrey Dahmer at number 3. Jeffrey Dahmer was a fucked up one and probably the most explored serial killer for me because of his early growing up and just how he started out killing animals and they kind of knew something was kind of up with him, and just he was a very intriguing guy.
To me, he has the most interesting story.
He does. Like he was a homosexual and he would lure in other gay men and kill them and just save their bodies. And I remember reading this one biography on him and him talking about that he would cut off the penises of these guys and he would freeze them and he would use them as sex toys after and stuff. And I was like, fuck, is that?
Oh, that's fucking up.
Fucking bizarre shit, man. But the one intriguing thing that I read on Dahmer that was very fucking weird, like this is why serial killers fascinate me, because they do weird shit like this, that, you know, his locker, he worked at this plant or whatever, and the guys in the break room and stuff were complaining about the stench from his locker and stuff. And it turns out that he actually had a head in his locker. Like he just brought a head to work.
Christ. Nobody knows that like, there's a head in there.
You would be surprised how unsuspecting these serial killers are, right? I mean, it's the people you work with. It's the people who you see walking across the street, you know? Yeah, and that's what's so interesting about them is because they are us. They're just us, but a little different. And like, why are they different? That's why I find them interesting. Like what, like how do you go from, like someone like me and be escalated to do something horrific like Dahmer, you know, like, and you know, Bundy's a good example. A lot of people thought he was just a normal fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dahmer was a fucking crazy story. Very intriguing.
Jeffrey Dahmer files coming up.
Yeah. Number 2, Ted Bundy. Now, Ted Bundy to me was probably one of the most twisted fucking serial killers ever because, I mean, he originally claimed that he killed like over 200 women or something like that. We'll never really know, but he was interesting because he was such a smart, like very good looking man. Like he was a college professor, university professor, whatever. Very good looking. He had everything going for him, but he raped and killed women and fucked their dead bodies like days after. He'd go back to the woods and fuck their bodies, and just a really smart guy. And like, oh god, he really intriguing. Read a lot of stuff on Ted Bundy.
Unsuspecting.
Totally, just because of his profession and how good looking he was. He didn't fit any of the criteria.
And he fried, man.
Yeah.
It's one of the last ones to fry, I think. He died in 89, right?
I can't remember when he was executed.
Yeah, I think he died in like the late 80s, early 90s. So
mm-hmm.
I think that's like right towards the end of when they stopped using the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at number 1, I got Albert Fish, also known as the Gray Man. This one, the reason why I have Albert Fish at number 1 is because he was fucking so mysterious, man. Like, you didn't really know a lot about him. He was a child rapist / cannibal. He claimed that he killed, like, I don't know what it was, like 100 to 150 kids or something like that.
Which
and he
is
also
common with these serial killers to
but
inflate their actual killings. But you never know also.
Yeah, but the intriguing thing about Albert Fish that I found, I was reading a biography on him one time, and he was saying that he claims that he killed a kid in every different state, in every state. I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking interesting. But I don't know, man. His whole story is very intriguing. Definitely seek out a biography on him because it's pretty fucking wild, man. Pretty wild shit. So
yes,
but yeah,
I guess I'll go next. My number 5 is Albert Fish, and he arguably could be lower on the list, but man, that guy is just pure evil sounding. There was a documentary that was on Netflix years back that I checked out, and man, like that letter, you know the letter that he wrote, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is just terrible. That is a terrible person.
Have you ever seen the movie The Gray Man?
Oh,
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Number 4 is Bundy. Same reasons that Moodz said. 3 is Gacy. 2 is Dahmer. I think that Dahmer's, I remember reading, I think his favorite film was like The Exorcist or The Exorcist 3. He used to take his, male prostitutes back to his house and watch The Exorcist like over and over again.
Yeah, he was nearby here too. I forgot about Dahmer was from around here too.
Dahmer to me is just the most vile, like out of them all. He just did stuff that just seems so extreme that like you have to literally have something missing in your brain to like.
There hasn't been like
not just be grossed out at some of this.
Yeah, there hasn't been one of these like serial killers that have gotten really popular lately. Like it seemed like that was like a late '90s type of a thing.
That's because he's still doing podcasts.
But no, think about it. Like, when's the last time you've heard of like a serial killer, like a major serial killer?
Totally, man. The fucking serial killers went out with the fanny packs, man.
Yeah, so Dahmer was like the last one, right?
Yeah.
Like major one? I think there's been some. I don't know.
Gacy died in '94, so I don't know when Dahmer got killed.
I mean, like when he was doing his shit, though, right? I mean, that was in the '90s, right? Or was it in the '80s?
I mean, there's tons of serial killers all the time.
So Dahmer and Gacy died in the same year. They both died in '94. So
nothing so notorious like Dahmer, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or any of these guys. But my number 1 is Ed Gein, and you know, who knows how many people he actually killed? You know, like 2, 3. But I don't know. I like his story. It's because it was kind of in an early time, right? And it was the first one that seemed to be like that got really popular. That was as like weird and like out there.
I think the interesting thing about Ed Gein is that he started serial killing at such an old age.
Well, there is like evidence, not conclusive, but there is evidence that he might have killed his brother when he was a kid also.
Okay, but like doing exactly what he's known for and stuff, it kind of started like later in his life, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I always recommend Deranged because it's actually a really accurate telling of the Ed Gein. I mean, we have Chainsaw and Psycho and Silence of the Lambs that are completely, so far removed from the person. But Deranged is a really good telling of the Ed Gein.
Well, it's more specific to Ed Gein, though.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that one is really cool. I always find it weird that there's not really very many good adaptations of these people's lives. You know,
another guy from Wisconsin. Man, all these serial killers in Wisconsin and Illinois. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. So those are mine. Jeremy?
It must be the flatlands and all the wind and cheese.
Yeah. Probably got sick of the bad gas, so they just wanted to start killing people.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah. I don't really know. I'm not like educated in serial killers like you guys are. I mean, maybe
you never did this. You've never sat there and researched killers.
I mean, I know who they are and everything.
A week?
No, but I know who they are and everything. But it's like, I don't really care.
I love the documentaries, and I love the just researching them. If anybody knows like the best documentaries on all these guys, drop a comment below because I want to watch them.
I don't know, maybe I have to find a class on these serial killers and take it, and then I'll become more educated and I can give my opinions on who I think are more fucked up for killing and raping people than the people that you talked about.
Like, I'll watch, I feel like I know everything about them, sometimes, but I'll watch like a 90-minute documentary and I'll learn like 5 new things. I'll be like, that was awesome.
Yeah, because, so many people dying is so awesome.
Dude, you're a guy. Yeah, I don't even want to hear you. It's not about what they did. I'm not.
No, it's more about like
what they did. It's the psychology of why they did it. What makes them them. I find it 100,000,000% fascinating on how that can even happen. Like how?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not an interesting thing. I'm just not educated enough to name my top 5 favorite serial killers.
I mean, that's fair enough.
Maybe this week I'll do some research, and next week's show
I just found it surprising that you I find that a lot of times the horror fans end up kind of straying into the real life horror and seeing what is some real horror. You know what I mean? So,
but they are, and I know what they did and everything. But it's like I'm not like, he's my favorite. It's not my favorite.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's it for. Is that all we have for questions? And
yep.
Yeah, I believe so.
Voicemails and emails. No emails this week.
No emails.
Oh wow, we're losing steam, boys. Come on. Yeah. So of course, everybody out there listening, if you got any questions for us next week, we're back on our regular schedule. So drop us a line, drop us a question,
send us a voicemail.
Send us a voicemail, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Get in contact with us, so we will answer them from there. So, yeah. All right. So for this week's Coroner's Report, Weird Stacks and Morbid Facts. Did I say stacks?
Yep.
Weird stats
we're all
and morbid
having trouble
facts.
Talking this week.
Jesus. It's probably because I haven't ate anything today. Rue Morgue's Coroner's Report. This one I wanted to read out because I'm just curious on how many people this happens to a year. We'll figure a number after. This is very odd. Okay, and by the way, this is actually from the brand new Rue Morgue from October 2014. Earlier this year in Vienna, a herd of cows unexpectedly rushed and killed a German woman hiking through her fenced-in pasture. It was later determined that the cows were riled by the sight of her unleashed dog.
So wait, a cow didn't fall through the roof this time? It just...
No. Oh, I never even thought of that. Another thing based on cows.
Yeah.
But honestly, how many people get killed a year from
cow
a herd of cows?
Oh my god! I mean, honestly,
that doesn't fucking happen. Like cows are so usually set in their own little ways. They don't really give a shit, but they got that riled from an unleashed dog.
If you would have said wild, bulls, I would be like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I think these were literally, cows. Raising cows. Yeah, it's pretty odd.
That is so weird.
It's fucking weird. That made me laugh when I read it. But, yeah, so that's going to do it for the Morbid Stat. And, yeah.
Morbid Fact.
Alrighty, so we are going to move along to what we watched.
The main review.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start off with the main review.
Yeah. It's not really a main review because I don't think we're going to talk about it that much, but we got to mention it.
True that. So, we are going to bring up the 2014 film called Mutantis.
Yeah, so this was, courtesy of Dire Wit Films. They sent us some screeners, which was really cool. And we watched them. We was going to cover it on the show that we missed a couple weeks back. But we're just going to talk about it right now instead. So, what do you guys think?
This movie's fucking hilarious. The freaking dialogue just made me laugh so hard. Like we were talking about earlier, it's trying to be a shitty film on purpose. It's not shot on video days. But the girls dressing up as guys and the guys dressing up as girls just made me piss my pants laughing.
I was dying. I was literally dying the whole time with that boys dressed up as girls and vice versa thing. It was fucking killing me the whole movie.
The whole movie, it was killing you. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest on this one. When I seen that, I didn't even recognize it at first, which is crazy. I know, right? Because it's so obvious. But I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of funny. That's clever. But I didn't like it. It was just like whatever. I didn't really think it was like a really funny thing. I don't think it added to like funny performances or anything. It just was like funny when I first realized it, and that was it.
Oh man, come on! I thought it was super funny. Those mustaches, oh man.
It's the fact that the costumes were bad that it made it funny. If they were like good costumes, then it'd be like. But it kind of reminded me of like South Park when the cop goes on the street to become a prostitute. Like it's like that kind of bad costume. That's like it just made me laugh.
Yeah. Does somebody want to give the actual storyline to the film?
Oh, there's a storyline.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You give it.
Hold on, I can't even remember what the fuck it's about.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what the fuck is it about?
It's forgettable.
Oh, okay, what was it?
It had something to do with scientists looking for a creature who lived in the woods, and this creature is like raping people. It's a mutant of like evolution. I don't really know, but that's kind of what it is. It's multi-sexed. Also, it's a hermaphrodite, I believe.
Yeah.
And it is in a costume, a crudely designed costume, crudely on purpose. I get the joke. I understand that. I get it. I just don't really want it. I don't really get these type of films.
I hate movies like this. Also,
do you?
JP.
Thank you.
Yeah, I only like The Taint. The Taint is like the one movie that I'm like, oh, it's just funny. And Manborg. But like movies that are like trying to be bad like this, like they just annoy me. Like, I wanted to turn it off like halfway through because I was like, it gets stale really fast.
To be honest, I really enjoyed it. I personally love movies like this because they're just ridiculous. But honestly, the mutated monster, or I guess it was it supposed to be a Bigfoot or something like that? Like
I thought it was lizardish.
It was like a lizard, I don't know, something like that. But that's trying to procreate and stuff.
I prefer me up worse.
But like so ridiculous, like the penis. I mean, come on.
I will admit that looked pretty good. Like I was like, all right, that was a cool design of like how they did it and stuff. And when it would slowly come out, it was like gross. Like I thought that looked okay. But my point here is, yes, what they're going for is over the top ridiculousness. But what I'm saying is it's just not clever. There is nothing clever about it. It's not like South Park that goes over the top ridiculous, but South Park is clever. This is basic, dude. And if you can prove to me or like try to convince me that like there was actual like talent behind some of this, I'm all for it, but I don't see it.
It's something like
super basic that anybody could do this.
I like the voiceover narration thing was weird too.
But it doesn't necessarily make it that it's not entertaining, though, just because anybody could do it. It doesn't have to be, completely fresh and original and, whatever else you want to state. But I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun with it, to be honest. Like the fucking claws and shit. I don't know. There was just certain things about the effects and stuff that were it had charm to it.
I don't know. Maybe you're more accustomed to watching these type of movies than me and
It seems like all of these go for that offensive style too, where they're like, oh, like the guy's getting raped by the dick. It's like, okay, dude, I've seen it done before over and over again. It's not really that offensive anymore. It's just stupid now.
Well, whatever, man. It's like, I mean, it's no different than a slasher film. You watch a generic slasher film and you see some sleaziness going on there and same typical type kills and same storylines and stuff.
I disagree a little bit on that because at least they're trying in the slasher film. These
not
people,
necessarily,
but they're trying to make them. They're trying to
make a movie.
I don't know about not necessarily. They're at least like making a movie. They going in with the intention, let's do this because it's going to get a reaction to people being offended, or it's going to be like just.
Is that really the way you take it though? You think that was intended just to be just done for reactions and stuff. I mean, it's just a dick. So. It's just a dick being raping and stuff. It's not that offensive. Like, honestly, the people that are watching these films are not being offended by that. I mean, it's just more for entertainment. I don't think it's meant to be, hey, let's throw this fucking huge cock into this guy's asshole and everyone's going to be super offended. No, I don't think that is, because honestly, the people that are watching these movies watch these movies.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
It's not for reaction. It's for entertainment value. It's a big fucking huge slimy cock. And I thought that shit was funny.
Why?
Because I like that stuff. I like that type of humor. I like dirty fucking rape cocks and, stupid effects and shit. Like, I mean, the whole cross-dressing gender thing that was, wasn't actually cross-dressing. That's just the way they did it. But
if you're trying to be funny, you can't just say, like, aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Because that shit's played out. You have to innovate. You have to do something that hasn't been done, or you just have to do it in a different spin. I've seen this shit a million times. These
maybe for somebody that doesn't have a sense of humor.
I really do think I have a solid sense of humor. I just don't get I'm just not that into like the immature humor that's not creative. I like creative stuff. I like creative, funny jokes. I don't like just like, oh look, it's poop. Oh look, it's a dick. Oh look, he's being raped.
Fair enough.
You would not like the taint then.
Honestly, I love dick and fart jokes, man, and they never get old to me. It doesn't matter.
Like South Park,
it doesn't even have to be creative. It doesn't even have to be creative. I can be walking down the street and someone farts, and I will literally lose my shit. I'm like, that is the funniest joke I've seen all day.
It's about the context too, though. If I'm walking down the street and I hear just some guy fart next to me, yeah, it's gonna be funny. But when somebody is like over the top,
look at Moodz,
like
he's dying already, and
shitting on the film, I'm like. I don't know, man. It seems so silly to me, and I can't take it for anything because I just feel like they don't have a clue on how to do anything that's gonna make me laugh. They just are literally doing whatever they think of, and that's it.
Moodz lost his shit just by you describing it.
I don't know, man. I find this whole like, I mean, the movie's obviously it's meant to be like retarded. It's half man, half beast, fucking raping people. But the thing, it didn't get old to me because it was so short. This movie was like super fast. I mean, I don't know. When did you guys lose interest? 5-10 minutes into it, or what?
About 20 minutes.
Well, I didn't necessarily lose interest at all. I just felt like it's played out. I don't like these type of films because there's no art to them. There's absolutely no art.
Oh man, I don't think there needs to be art to a film like this.
Yeah.
It's different. This is like a genre all by itself, like goofy.
Yeah,
it's goofy.
It's like the Taint. You wouldn't like the Taint or Manborg, JP, then.
Well, the thing with the Taint though, the Taint's actually a lot like it
has a higher production.
It definitely does. There's a lot of things different about the Taint that's going on with this one.
Yeah, but it's still goofy
this one's pretty silly. I mean, yeah, the Taint is obviously silly. It's exploding penises.
The thing is, they're not doing anything. And I'll talk about this later in another film that I watched and why I find them different. But the film that I'm referencing is Thanksgiving. Okay, I like Thanksgiving. It's not a fantastic movie, but they're doing something. They're doing something that they're trying to be a little bit clever or have charm to it, or do something that's necessarily not the same thing over and over again. The guys getting raped in these type of films and these like poop jokes and like sex jokes, like they don't work because they're so stupid. They don't make any attempt to try. Just try.
Dude, the whole movie doesn't have to make sense though to be like, it's just entertainment. It's 70 fucking minutes of nonsense. I mean, it's about a doctor that he basically uses his kids as bait.
And what is the biggest failure in entertainment?
Same with peeping
not being entertaining.
I don't know, man. See, I just have a different.
They got nothing in this film. Everybody out there, avoid this thing like the goddamn plague. It's an awful movie. This isn't even a movie.
Oh, it's so fucking crazy how different we are. Man, I don't know, man. I had a lot of fucking fun with this.
I mean, to a certain extent, I am playing devil's advocate because, like I said, I wasn't necessarily bored by it. I did find some things like the way the penis thing worked. I did find that funny. Like, I was like, okay, that's something that's funny. But I just find that, and like you said, people switching the guys playing girls and the girls playing guys. I was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. That's an interesting little concept and stuff, but it's so short. It's like I've got a little giggle out of it and that's it. And it did work a little bit more certain times in the film when you really noticed it. But just the way that these characters are, like, the so over the topness, like none of these, I don't know, man. I just don't get these films. Why make it so bad? Like, why make it to where you're not even trying at all? And I know that's the point, and it drives me crazy because I don't like that. I don't like the idea of doing that.
I'm pretty sure the budget on this film too was like $1,000 or something like that too. Like, they made this film for basically nothing, you know. So
yeah, but you know what else was made for next to nothing? The Battery.
Yeah, and that's a masterpiece.
So I don't want to hear that, like, well, they had no money thing.
Yeah, but honestly, dude, that's completely not fair though, because The Battery, this movie actually has special effects and stuff like that in it too, right? Like, you have to spend a little bit of time and, you know, money to do. I mean, not some of the costumes obviously were fucking like $3 costumes, but even, you know, doing the penis stuff, and, you know, it takes a little bit of time and at least a little bit of cash and stuff to do that too, right? But I give him credit.
I understand that. I mean, I do give him credit where credit's due. I do, like I said, I think that design, and I actually think that the design of the creature, like, I thought that was cheesy funny. Like, I was like, okay, like, I'm down with this, but
dude, he's got like lobster pinchers, man. He's got like lobster pinchers.
I know,
but
it was funny, like Thanksgiving, right? The turkey puppet. Like, I was like, okay, I'm down with that. But when it's the characters that are just like, and just this stuff that's happening outside of that, it's all just so boring to me. There's just nothing. It's recycled garbage.
Well, I was pretty bored too. That's why I'm not talking about it, because I really don't have much to say.
Basically, what it comes down to is this movie's for people that like really, really stupid films.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I actually
Bill Zabub type shit.
I actually watched. Actually, Mr. Parker reviewed this film and gave it a pretty positive review too, and it just sounded right up my alley. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. So, I mean, yeah, if you're not into these type of movies, like I say in lots of my reviews too, if you don't like 80s cheesy slashers and stuff, stay the fuck away from them. You're not gonna like it. This is very, very low budget, micro budget, actually no budget, fucking ridiculousness throughout the whole film. Yeah, stay away from it, man. If this isn't your type of thing, but if you're into it, definitely check it out, in my opinion.
What is the main thing that you go to is it's entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, that's what most film is, right? It is entertainment. So I'm with you on that. And if you find this stuff entertaining, then yeah, you're gonna find it entertaining. I found some parts entertaining, but is that all it is? This is just nothing. But
it doesn't have any, like, you know, real substance to it. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's supposed to be ridiculous. Well, it's been like a month since I've seen it too. I had to kind of look at the cover to remind myself. But I mean, honestly, dude, I can't remember shit that happened yesterday.
Would you watch this again?
In all fairness, would I watch this again?
Yeah,
I would, because I have a tolerance that you guys would not even begin to understand.
Yeah, you forget JP Moodz watches like 8 movies a day, so it's like
but this actually isn't even the worst film that I saw during this period.
But I mean, fuck, dude, it's 70 minutes, man. It's not like I'm, you know, spending 2 fucking hours on this film.
Like an hour.
Yeah, it's so quick, and I just, you know, whatever. I mean, it's not something I necessarily want to watch all the time, but this is exactly my point when it comes to, you know, these type of films, these type of horror films, or comedy horror, whatever it may be. Like, I can watch Mutantis, and then I can, you know, watch like a serious ass horror film. I could watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then I could watch fucking, you know, Cockneys vs. Zombies, and I can watch. You know, I go back and forth between quality, you know, like real good films. It just, I vary all the time. And I'm always looking for different types of films. I really don't like to kind of subject myself to just one type of horror film. I know we all don't.
And I'm the same way. But, you know, even with these films, I'll watch them all day. Give me 1,000,000 of them. I'll go through them. It might take a little while. I'm not opposed to giving them a chance. It's just when I get through the film and I'm like, that was nothing. I just experienced nothing. And there was minor things for a little bit, like the things that I mentioned. But I'm also saying this isn't like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like there is some entertainment value to it. But overall, there's just nothing to latch onto. There is no substance. It is nothing after you're done. You don't feel anything. It's just nothing. It's like, yeah, I just spent, you know, 60 minutes watching this.
In all fairness, when I click on a movie called Mutantis, I'm not looking to take anything out of it. I'm just looking for 73 minutes of eating popcorn and playing with my balls. So, it's pretty much what I'm going to get out of this, right?
The combos.
Well, when I go to watch a movie, I'm expecting, I'm expecting it to be good most of the time, because you should expect to have to watch a good movie. I mean,
obviously I don't pop in movies expecting them to be like complete shit. And like, I don't know, that's kind of a weird attitude to go in. You're like, oh yeah, this movie, I hope it sucks.
Yeah. like I wanted
not what
this
you're
film
gonna
to
do.
be good. They sent us this film to review. I would have liked to, like it. But the fact is, it's disposable. It's just garbage. It's somewhat entertaining garbage. I will say that. There is some moments, but like I said time and time again, there's nothing to it. And I think you agree with that though. But you're just more entertained by those type of jokes. And I think it's almost a personal thing with me with these films, because I don't like the style. I don't want people to be doing this with their time and money, because I just feel like it's degrading the genre. It's making it worse. And I just wish people would go away from.
Man, JP, you are raping this fucker,
I don't
man.
mean personally. Man. I just mean the style of filmmaking.
I have so much respect for people that make films like this, because
why?
They're just trying.
Are they trying though? Do you think this was their hardest? Do you think they tried their best in this film? Do you think they tried to make the best film they could?
If you have $100, what kind of movie are you gonna make?
I'm gonna try as hard as I can, and if I fail, cool.
How do you
don't feel like they're trying, dude? I think they're better than this.
Really?
I
think they put a lot of effort in, especially with the effects and stuff like that. Like, I mean, they're not fucking, Tom Savini fucking
one
effects and
thing
stuff.
that costs no money, okay? You know what that is? Dialogue. Write some dialogue. Make some better dialogue. Take more time on the script. Make funny, clever jokes.
Yeah, well, everyone's not a fucking comedian like you, JP. I actually 100% agree with not having, or with dialogue and stuff like that. I've stressed many times in reviews and stuff that you can have a really good movie, and the dialogue can just ruin it at times. Really, really fucking bad, awful dialogue can take you right out of it and stuff. I mean, like I said, going into this movie, that the dialogue is not going to be great. Other things aren't going to be that great. It probably is just going to be, below average, mediocre stuff. But I mean, that's the way I go into it, looking at it, and I kind of keep that mentality.
Like, you want people to go out and make these type of films over other types of films, like these ones that are just this entertainment type stuff.
I want to see a classic film, like something tomorrow, like a major classic film. But I have no problem with movies like this. I mean, that probably stems from me watching shot on video films too.
But they go in with a mentality to make something like this, right? Like, why can't you go in with a mentality to make,
Dude, honestly, if everybody was making the same type of films, that would be boring as shit.
But it's not, this isn't I'm not saying like only make vampire films or something. I'm just saying don't go in and intentionally make your film bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not trying to say that, this is what everybody should be doing and stuff. But I mean, this movie is a comedy. Horror. It's a fucking comedy is what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
I think that's what it's intended to do. Well,
it's slightly funny. I'm being overly harsh on this. You're making me be overly harsh on this, because there are some things. Like, this isn't by far nowhere even close to the worst film I've seen.
See, now, the thing is, with a movie like this is that, if you have the notion that this movie is going to have, like, high production values and it's going to be a better film than it's probably meant to be, going into it, if you have the wrong notion, I think it's going to taint your...
That's why I try to go in with no notion. Like, I went into this one, I tried to avoid what Jens was saying about it and anything I've seen. Like, I wanted to go into it and just have whatever it was presented to me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. What it comes down to, like I said, I watch a lot of fucking micro budget films, and some are bad, some are not entertaining at all. This one I did find entertaining. I mean, I wish some of the dialogue was a little better, though. I will agree with that, because some of it at times I was even like, seriously, kind of laughing at the fact that it was so bad. But it is what it is, man. Whatever. I have respect for people that make films with pocket change. So
yeah, so do I. But I mean, I don't have respect for people who go in and try to make a bad film. Sorry, I just don't like that style. I say anybody out there who like,
but it is meant to be a comedy, though, right?
But that doesn't mean it has to be bad.
Every comedy is pretty much bad.
Okay. But what I'm saying is anybody out there who doesn't like these type of films, you know the type. Like, just by the way we're talking about it, you know the type. Just avoid this one. If you are somebody like Moodz, they do exist. They're rare. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you guys know if you'll like it. I say avoid it. But if we're going to get into ratings, like I said, I was being more harsh than I probably truly felt on this one. But that's because I was trying to prove a point. This is a 3 out of 10 for me. It's still better than The Entity. Not the not the good Entity, the Fangoria Fright Fest.
I agree with you on that.
That one's just called Entity. Yeah.
Okay.
That movie's fucking trash.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right. See, for me, it's completely different. Like, I mean, obviously I know this is not a great film. It has moments for me. But I would loosely recommend it because, for the small amount of people that are crazy like I am and watch really, really bad and shitty films and enjoy them, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Just
5.5.
I mean, man. Alone, the cock is great.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I am adapt to watching shitty movies in film school that I'm just annoyed of them, and I'm really, really, really don't want to watch them in my free time. Now, I know that those films are usually, 8 to 10 minutes long, so I watch a lot of them in a row usually, but when I have free time, I don't want to spend an hour of my time watching a movie that's shitty. Now, I understand some of it's really funny, and
really is pushing it.
But it could do... If it's done right, like in Manborg, it could do something really, really interesting and funny like it does in that film. But, I know what it's like to make a film with no money at all and things like that, but you just have to try. And I just don't think this film was really trying that hard.
That's my argument too, Jeremy.
I completely disagree. But whatever. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but that's cool. You know what? I'm going to leave the link down to Dave's review so you guys can check out,
and I'll check it out as well.
A quick little review, not an argument on a film, but if you guys want to check out the review on that one. It's short, but
Yeah. So, like I said, there are people like Moodz, and even like me, I'm game to watch.
Do you like Thanksgiving?
Do I like Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Not particularly. I don't think it's very good. It's better than this film, but it's not a film that I would buy and watch more than once.
See, I'm no stranger to these type of films. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen a lot of the...
with Thanksgiving, it's nowhere near this level. Like, it's like Thanksgiving, Ginger Dead Man.
Looks like it has an effort, right?
No, Thanksgiving...
And you can compare these films very well, because Thanksgiving also had a budget in the under $5,000 range, right?
Yeah, but
Thanksgiving has something to it. It has, they even, like the score, for example, they went out and tried to do the best they could with the score. The score for Thanksgiving is awesome. They spent some time on the dialogue, actually. Yeah, some of it is bad intentionally, but it's still funny bad because it's just a little bit more clever. I don't know, man. It's just like, this one just feels like they didn't have any heart or charm or anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, can I finish my
yeah,
rating?
Sorry.
Like I said, Thanksgiving is totally on a different level than this film. I don't know, maybe because it's the production value, but I kind of put Thanksgiving up there with Ginger Dead Man and
no way
Evil Bong and things like yeah.
Because dude, Evil Bong and Ginger Dead Man, I mean, that's like Full Moon. They have a sizable budget. I mean, Thanksgiving, I believe, was shot for $2,000, $3,000.
They just feel the same to me. I mean, of course they have a higher production value, but
because they took more time and effort.
Aesthetically, they look like the same type of film in my opinion. But like I said, I put those up there way above this film. But
You guys are taking this shit way too fucking serious. Come on,
I'm not taking it serious, Moodz. I just
breaking the shit down like I was writing a paper on this shit.
Every time we do these reviews, though, you know we take them serious. You just want to say that we shouldn't take them serious because this film isn't serious. But I mean, look at our reviews on, the Woman or Beneath. We took those very serious. That's what we do here. It's just fun.
3 out of 10.
All right, so Mutantis. 1 recommendation, 2, go fuck yourselves. I like that. So that's good though. I mean, I kind of figured exactly how that was going to go.
Yeah, I actually did too. Like, I knew you was going to like it. I knew I was going to, after I watched it, I knew I was like probably not going to like it. I mean, dude, 3 out of 10 is a fair rating for this film though.
No, because my 5 out of 10 is my average, and I recommend at 5. Let me finish. 5 out of 10 is where I recommend, right?
Yeah, 5 out of 10 is average, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think this film was below average.
On a production level, it's different. I'm rating it.
I'm talking about on
a
content level, not production. A content, the main review substance. Type of review. What does it have? What is it offering?
Yeah. Nothing really. It's offering low budget shittiness, and I respect that. I don't know what it is. I rated the film on how I liked it. So that's just how I rate films. I mean, if you want to rate like everything, like production value and everything into there,
my
might
overall
see those type of
comes
reviews for like
directly
really
from
good films.
Just what does it contain? What is it offering to me?
Okay. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Mutantis from 2014.
Thank you, Direwit Films.
Yes, yeah, thank you. I really hope they don't listen to this. So moving along to what we watched, that was kind of like a main review and to start off.
I didn't expect it to be.
Okay, so who wants to start off with what they watched?
So how many are we doing? Are we just gonna do a?
Just go, Jeremy.
All right. So let's see. The first one I want to talk about. Let's do a film from 1991 that I sent to Moodz. That's titled The Borrower, and this film is an interesting. It's like a sci-fi type horror type of a film, but it was released by the guy who directed Henry Portrait of the Serial Killer, and it's known for not having a release. You can only get it on VHS and Laserdisc. The reason that I think that I've heard that it doesn't have a DVD or a digital release is that there's one print of the film. This is what I heard from the director. There's one print of the film, still around. And it was in Chicago for a long, long time, like 6 or 7 years. And somebody in Europe bought it, and the guy who bought it died. So now they have no idea what this print is, and it's just sitting somewhere. And that's why the film doesn't have a official release. Because
they should have thought of this potential predicament before
it went to Europe.
Yeah, they should have just pressed this thing up a long time ago.
Yeah. But this film is interesting. It's about like this alien who goes to Earth, and he gets caught by these 2 rednecks, and one of the rednecks cuts off his head, but he still moves around and things like that. His decapitation doesn't kill him, so the way that he survives is he cuts off one of the rednecks' heads and he puts it where his head is. So now he's going around with his redneck's head. It's more of a horror comedy. It's really, really fucking funny. And it's just him living on Earth and not knowing what's going on because he hasn't lived here. And it's him like trying to learn the culture and things like that. And it's just really fucking funny because as the film goes on, he loses his head more and more times and he keeps replacing it with other people's heads. So it's just funny. Like it's this huge white guy. And then all of a sudden he has like this black guy's head on, and it's just really fucking funny. And there's some really good gore and things like that during the kills where he's, cutting off the heads and putting them on his body and things like that. But it's more of a dark comedy type of a film, and I really, really wish it would get an official release because it's really, really, really funny. And it was refreshing to see it because I actually saw it projected on Laserdisc. Yeah, it was fucking awesome to see a Laserdisc in a theater. I know I told Moodz and JP when I saw it that it was getting projected on Laserdisc, and the last like 3 minutes of the film, the Laserdisc shat out, and it was just hilarious because like, you know, you can't really see the ending of what happened, but it's on YouTube and things like that. But it's just a really fun and interesting film. So check it out if you could find it on Laserdisc. If you have a player or VHS, I know everyone probably has a VHS player, or not. Just find it online. It's on YouTube and things like that. So 8 out of 10.
Awesome. I guess I'll go next. Is that cool? One of the films I watched this week is from 2000, or it was like 2 weeks ago. This is a film from the year 2014, and it is based off of a Stephen King short story that was in the compilation Full Dark No Stars. This film is a Lifetime original film, and it is Big Driver from 2014. This film follows a author, go figure, and it is her, and she is going on this unfamiliar territory road where she is doing a book signing. It has this weird technique that they're using where she's like talking, plot element where she's like talking to her GPS and stuff, and it's like her subconscious. I didn't think it really worked too well, but that's beside the point. And then she gets to the book signing, she does her thing, and the owner of the bookstore gives her a shortcut. She pops it into her GPS, and on her way there, she gets a flat tire. There is a man in a big truck that pulls up who is also big, and he then knocks her out, rapes her, and this is a rape revenge film. So, my overall thoughts on this film, I thought it was actually a solid representation of the story. I've actually read this story, which is surprising. And I do think, obviously the story gets very graphic and violent. That is definitely toned down for something on network TV like Lifetime. But I did think that they accurately, portrayed a rape scene. So I was very surprised by that. And I felt like the rape and the early portion of the film was very solid. It worked for a TV movie, and especially Lifetime. I wasn't expecting much. The revenge portion of the film felt very rushed, and it felt like the tension and just dread and fear and rage that was captured in the novel was nowhere near captured on screen. So overall, I thought it was a solid attempt, especially for Lifetime. Say it again. But overall, left me wanting a bit more. Should have probably been a theatrical film or a little bit of nod on Lifetime. 6.5 out of 10.
It should have been a little bit of not on Lifetime.
I mean, does this one sound interesting to you guys though? I mean, does it sound like a little bit surprising considering it's Lifetime?
Oh fuck, man! The content does not seem like it should be on that network.
You've read this story too, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's pretty violent and graphic, and this is definitely not. But I mean, I was actually a bit surprised at what they did show. So yeah, Big Driver.
It's interesting. Yeah, I wonder why that was made into. For that network. Why do you think that happened?
Lifetime has been dabbling in the horror genre lately, dude. It's weird.
I noticed that too.
But even to take that type of movie with that content to that network, don't you think that's kind of a stretch? You think if you made that movie, if you presented that to them, you're like, hey, I've got this rape revenge film. You guys want to show it on the Lifetime network?
Well, I don't know. I do know that Lifetime, it's a woman's network, right? Primarily. That's a target demographic. And that kind of goes to the debate, are these rape revenge films, empowering to women, or are they sleaze?
I'll get into that later.
Well, I think a little bit it is empowering to women. I mean, because the whole revenge thing,
too.
But I see it. I think a lot of women see it. They only see the rape. Right?
Especially in this one where the revenge isn't as good as the rape. Not that rape is good, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, I do think that it almost kind of fits Lifetime. I know they've done like TV movies based on rape and stuff before, but at the same time, you're absolutely right. It's like it's like, hey, you guys want to do an I Spit on Your Grave? It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting. All right. So, first film I'm going to talk about is a Dustin Mills film, and it is called The Hornet Sting and the Hell It Caused.
That is an awesome title.
Yeah.
I know, isn't it a great title? Fantastic title, really cool cover too. This is an interesting film. It basically follows your lead character. Her name is Rose. She is a photographer, and she specializes in some like pretty random shit. Like she basically kind of has these people kidnapped, and she specializes like in bondage and like dehumanization, degradation, murder, things like that and stuff. But while she's doing all these things to people, breaking down their human life and stuff, she's taking photographs and whatnot and shit. It almost seems like she's kind of just torturing the shit out of these people, just making them just not want to live anymore and stuff. And that's essentially what it is. It's people getting kind of tortured and murdered off, and she's taking photographs and stuff. Now it sounds pretty basic, but this one, oh man, it is really good. It's really good. It's interesting how Dustin filmed this, because your main character, Rose, she's pretty much naked throughout the whole film. And she's like, torturing and killing off these people, and they're naked too. You get a special appearance by Dave Parker in this one. And you get to see a lot of Dave in this movie. You guys can use your imaginations on what I mean by that.
Full frontal Dave?
Are you serious?
It's really shocking, actually, because you get to see Dave's penis about 8 times in this movie. And I was like just shocked by that. I was like, holy fuck, like wild. But
I know that guy.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
I know
talk to
that
that guy. Yeah. But it's shot really good. Like Dustin has a really interesting way of using cinematography as a key tool in his films. And it's brilliantly done. It's brilliantly done.
Sounds like he puts a little effort into them.
He does, but it's also because he takes like very simple concepts and he utilizes those simple concepts into something that's it's beautiful. It's shot beautifully, and then he always has a really good end to his films. That's one thing that Dustin really
I'm a sucker for both of those things. Simple concepts and good ends.
But that's the thing, like he executes it, and at first, like to a normal person, and be like, this is just like a torture porn. Yes, I use the word torture porn because that's what they would use. It just kind of seems like that's what's going on, and then the end happens, and it's just like, holy fucking awesome! I want to see a part 2 to this. Very cool stuff. Like I don't really want to say a whole lot more about it and ruin anything, but you can definitely pick this one for super cheap. My biggest complaint with this movie though is simply that it's too short. This one runs about 60 minutes. I would love to have seen another 10-15 minutes at least on this, but I do understand, and where he ended it is perfect. It really does work. It's fantastic, actually. Really great ending, and all the performances are awesome too. I think the lead, Rose, I'm not exactly 100% sure what her name is, but maybe it's Allison Egan or something like that. That's not Rose, that's the other girl. But all the faces that are in this film are very familiar to all of Dustin Mills' films. You'll recognize them. But all I gotta say, check this movie out. It's fucking fantastic. I really, really highly enjoyed this movie. I would give it simply a 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's really enjoyable.
I need to get my damn
Dustin Mills
DVDs out of my damn storage, because I do own Her Name Was Torment. Ordered it from the website, and I've still not seen a film by him, and you talk about him all the damn time, and I need to see one.
One thing I didn't mention, actually, is the effects in the film. Really good effects. There's one thing that Dustin's really good at is creating really good effects. Love it.
Like, Dustin Mills, like, if you think somebody just gave him $1 million, do you think he would make a hell of a film?
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was reading a post that Dustin had. I can't remember what his original post was, but someone had mentioned that, like, Dustin, if someone gave you like all the money in the world to make a movie, and Dustin, you know what he replied? He goes, I would fuck that up big time. He goes, I work a lot better making budget films because this is what I know and how to make and what I'd love to make and stuff, right? I think with a bigger budget,
20 low budget films.
Well, I mean, you could do that, but I mean, if you have like a $5,000 budget, I think was the biggest budget film he did, which was Easter Casket. I think that's what it cost to make that movie. But Her Name is Torment, I think, is going to be the biggest budget film, which actually did get funded, right?
That's awesome.
If you guys were watching that campaign, it actually fully did get funded, and it's on its way to making like the 9,000. So, and if they do reach that goal, they're going to make part 3, which is so fantastic. The fans out there really digging the stuff when they actually funded this movie. It's phenomenal. But he even said that, he goes, you give me a huge budget, $1 million, and I'll fuck that movie up big time. But who knows? He might just be playing like very modest. And stuff,
yeah.
But
I mean, your personal opinion, you think he would make a hell of a movie with a lot of money, though? Not maybe let's say like 100,000.
I honestly think that he could do an amazing film with that budget. Like I said, his ideas are just amazing. He never has like a very simple idea for a film. Like he does, but he always manages to turn it into something that you would never expect it and where to go. It's amazing how he does these things. So I think with a big budget,
what I look for in my indie stuff, though. I want to see some potential in there. Like I want to see this guy. The only reason that this film is flawed is because of money, not because of talent.
Yeah. And that's one thing that he definitely focuses on. He comes up with these ideas. He writes the script. And he goes from there, and then he has to develop that film from the cash that he has and stuff. But the ideas are just endless, and they're really creative. It's the coolest thing about Dustin.
Cool. Jeremy, back to you.
All right, so let's go with this one. So I watched ABCs of Death 2. Now, last year,
that tone does not sound good.
Yeah.
Last year, of course, you had ABCs of Death on
Shut
your
up,
top
JP.
10 horror films of 2013.
Fuck up your reviews, damn it! I had American Mary on there, too,
Maniac.
and that wouldn't be on there this
year.
year.
You did not have Maniac. Just saying.
My list would change.
Mine would, too, actually.
American Mary and ABCs of Death would not be on there, but... So, thing with ABCs of Death 2, now I've been hearing a lot of people... Even David K. said it was better, and David K., he's picky. Is better than the first one. Now, from the letters A through S, I was bored out of my fucking mind. There was so many. There was like maybe 1 or 2 good ones, but all the rest of the letters were just so
one
bad.
1 or 2 good ones. That sounds
1 or 2
awful.
From A to S. From S to the end, every single one besides 1 was good. So they saved like all the good ones towards the end. And
they didn't really save them because they're kind of stuck in that position, right?
Yeah. But letter C, definitely the best short in the entire film. I would love to see that fleshed out into a full-length feature.
What did it stand for?
I forgot. I watched it like 2 weeks ago. But it was about like this woman who gets pregnant, but she can't give birth to the baby. So the baby like grows inside of her, and she's carrying around like a 13-year-old baby inside of her.
That actually does sound pretty awesome.
It's fucking awesome. It's so good.
See, I like concepts like that.
It's definitely the best. It's the best short between ABCs of Death 1 and 2. It's the best one between the 2 films. But like I said, letter A through S, there's maybe 1 or 2 good shorts, but the rest are just really, really hard to get through. I was really, really tempted to turn it off. Like halfway through, but I never turn off films. I just watch them. But
yeah, me too.
But once it gets to S and it gets to the Soska Sisters short, up to S was bad. Then it started with T. T was the Soska Sisters short, which was T for torture porn, which was interesting. But from T onwards, the end of the alphabet, like I said, really, really solid stuff. I wish that they would have been, gotten other letters, so it would have been. You wouldn't have a chunk of really bad ones and a chunk of really good ones towards the ending. But I didn't like this one as much as the first one, to be completely honest, even though it had the best shorts between the two towards the end of the film. The beginning of the film just really ruined it for me. And I would not recommend to check it out. I really hope they don't do a third one, because this is going to get stale and boring. And you're probably going to have even more worse ones the next time around. You didn't have like that many well-known directors like you did in the first one, so that was kind of a little bit of a issue. Like I said, the most famous the most famous director, and it was the Soska Sisters, and you know them. So
yeah. Well, see, my thing with the ABCs of Death thing is I don't think the concept can get stale because it is just short films. You just have to get good short films. Like, it's not the concept that's failing it. It's the
I don't want to see
those. I think it's the whole idea of watching ABCs of Death Part 9 and having to watch 26 more shorts. I think it's the whole concept of watching shorts over and over again. It's just like, fuck, it's getting old.
Yeah, but that's if you don't like shorts, you know what I mean? But if you like shorts, I've seen some amazing shorts. And if it was filled with amazing shorts, then it would be awesome, right? It's the shorts that are letting us down.
But you're not going to have an amazing...
Why?
Movie of amazing... Because everyone has different views of what's good and what's not.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying, like, why can't there be good shorts though? Like, I mean, obviously it's all subjective, but I mean, generally speaking, you would probably consider that most people would consider them bad, right? I'm just saying, like, why can't there be a bunch of good ones? It's just that they're either not giving them enough money or they're not getting the right people. I don't think it's the concept that's failing. I mean, obviously, it might be a little boring to sit through that many things in a row, but if you like shorts, it might not be. There's still, if you had good shorts, I think that's the main problem here from what I'm getting at, is that it seems like there was bad shorts.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's going to happen, right? I mean, like, I think in ABCs of Death, the first one, I think I liked...
it was like 16 or something.
No, I liked 12 of the 26. There was 14 that I didn't really care for. So
I liked about like 10 in this one. Not even.
Yeah, and I had the same problem with ABCs of Death. I thought it was actually pretty not good. Actually, I thought that there was some good ones, but overall, as a whole, it wasn't very good.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's how you're going to get with these though too, because like I even recommended the first one loosely because of the end ones I thought were so solid that it actually brought it up to like a recommendation level. But some of the ones that were bad were like terrible.
Yeah, it's like,
so it's such a balance. Yeah. It's such an uneven balance. It's just like, oh God. Yeah. So yeah, I can see how this would get old to people because, when you have really, really bad ones outbalancing like, the good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I do not recommend it. 4 out of 10.
Ooh,
shit.
4 out of 10. I believe I gave that original one like a 6.
I know I came in lower than you. I think mine was like 5.5 or something. Oh yeah, because I just loosely because of I like less. So 4 out of 10. Wow, crazy.
The next film I watched was Grace from the year 2014, I believe. This is not a sequel to Grace, the film about the killer baby, the zombie baby, or it actually has a subtitle called Grace the Possession, which is also not a sequel to The Possession. It's a standalone film. And I mentioned this one last week. This one follows a girl who is off in college. Her mother is very religious. It's actually a grandmother played by Lynn Shay, which I thought was awesome. I like Lynn Shay. And her mother was originally a teen mom and died after birth. As this girl is at college, her roommate is like an alcoholic slutty girl. She got a crush on this guy that she's there with. And all of a sudden she starts doing things that are uncharacteristic of her. And essentially she gets sent back home because her mother is like, her grandmother is super religious and like pulls her out of school. Turns out she's being possessed. Now, what's weird about this film is it's shot it's actually shot just like Maniac, the remake. So it's point of view the whole time. But it's not like found footage point of view. It's like just we're looking through the eyes of the character the whole film.
I see a trend starting.
Exactly. And that's what I thought. I was like, oh, are they doing this now? This is the new thing? I was like, it was done creatively. Now it's got to be ripped off. It makes sense, right? So, but you know what? It doesn't add anything to the film. It doesn't, that's the problem. It's like, I don't know why they chose to do this. I guess it was slightly interesting to see a possession film from like the point of view of the person being possessed, but they didn't really effectively use that idea. They just made it their point of view, but you didn't really feel the possession growing, like the devil growing inside the girl. Joel David Moore is also in this film. I really like that guy. He did Spiral and Hatchet, the first Hatchet.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I mean, God damn it, it's a possession film, right? It doesn't really add much to the genre, but I thought there was some okay moments, and Lin Shaye gave a good performance, Joe David Moore also. It's very typical. The only thing that kind of set this one apart was that point of view style, and I think that it worked at times, but overall it just felt like it was unnecessary. Or if it was necessary, it wasn't executed to really benefit from that style. So overall, I thought it was above average, actually, surprisingly. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I think I would check that out.
Yeah, so. It's intriguing just to see like somebody else do that style.
Yeah, totally. Did you say anything about the music? Was there like synth music like Maniac in there too?
No.
Because that would be a total fucking ripoff. That'd be fucking ridiculous. All right, so next film that I want to discuss here, well, not discuss, talk about, review, whatever, is from 2014. It's from a Canadian company called Black Fawn Distributions, turning into one of my favorite companies, probably one of the only independent releasing companies out of Canada, really. But it's a film called Silent Retreat. This one, it's kind of interesting. It follows a girl named Janie. She is she's young. She's like late teens or whatever. She's just been charged with an assault or whatever. Anyways, instead of going to jail or to avoid jail time, they send her off to this secluded rehabilitation area or fucking facility way out in the woods. Of course, it's basically way out from civilization and stuff like that. So anyways, upon arrival, she soon learns that, it's kind of a different rehabilitation center where you actually can't talk, hence the title Silent Retreat. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed any eye contact with anybody. You're basically just a fucking piece of meat out there. You can't do anything. And this is supposed to rehabilitate them into not beating up people, I guess, or something. I don't know. But anyways, the girl starts kind of poking around and stuff. She's like, something feels odd about this place. The doctor is a complete fucking dick face asshole. He treats everyone like shit. And basically the place is kind of run by this doctor and his kids and stuff. His kids are kind of like the goons. They keep all the girls in order and shit like that. But of course she starts poking around because she just doesn't believe in no eye contact or, talking to the girls and whatnot. And she starts, like I said, doing her poking around and stuff. And then she comes across some information that, some of the girls might be being fucking brainwashed, basically, is what it comes down to. And there's also an alternative motive for the doctor and why he's doing this to these girls and stuff like that. Now they have to get the fuck out of there, of course, because something may be lurking in the woods. Yeah, kind of long-winded, right? This one was interesting. It's got a pretty cool premise. I thought it was an interesting premise for a film to have it like, silence, where the girls can't talk. So there's not like a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of awkward moments where people aren't looking at each other. And it's filmed actually quite well, really well done. But I think in the execution in the third act is a little, it does kind of get crazy and stuff like that. But overall, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's not like an A-class film or anything, but I did like the premise. I thought the lead, I'm not sure exactly what her name is. I thought she did a pretty good job, and some of the other girls were okay in it and stuff, but they were just kind of like there. Their characters weren't like fully introduced and stuff, except for this one girl. But it's got a pretty cool atmosphere. Like I said, it's secluded. It's very secluded, and the nighttime shots are pretty well done with this fucking thing out in the woods and stuff. Was pretty interesting. It's kind of an oddball finish to the film, I will say. But I do recommend it. I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. So
7 out of 10. Awesome. So that's that company up in Canada?
Yeah, Black Fawn Distribution.
Do they ship to the US cheaply?
I'm not sure about cheaply. I know
hell no. The answer is hell no. Nobody ships cheaply across the border.
Yeah, I know. I can't even say anything. Like, I mean, I just don't know because I can't even compare it to what I'm paying for shipping, because when you order from Black Fawn, it's free shipping in Canada. It's very odd. Like, you never fucking order from someone that's like free shipping. It's so weird. But
yeah,
I just got this one in. This one came out in September, like middle of September, whatever. So now I have all the films that they've released so far, and they're doing a pretty good job. I'm really going to keep supporting this company. So
Awesome. Rapid cuts. Quick cuts.
Yeah. Jeremy?
Jeremy?
Yeah, I gotta pick up my board. All right. We're gonna do all these, or what's going on?
Just fire them off.
All right. Phantom's Carriage, classic, masterpiece, one of the greatest films ever made. Probably the greatest film ever made. 10 out of 10. The man they could not hang, Boris Karloff, early 40s, low budget, fun film, 6 out of 10. Cat People, not for me. I know a lot of people really, really enjoy the film. This is the original, of course. Everyone talks about them. It's a classic and everything like that. I can see where they're coming from, but it's not for me, really. 5 out of 10. Curse of the Werewolf, classic Hammer film with frickin' Oliver Reed. It's okay. It's not my favorite Hammer film, but I give it a pass. 6 out of 10. Nosferatu, the Vampire, starring Klaus Kinski, a masterpiece. Cinematography is brilliant. The setting is brilliant. Everything about this film is just fucking fantastic. I really want to pick up that Scream Factory Blu-ray because this is the first time I saw it, and I absolutely love the film. I think it's fucking awesome. 9.5 out of 10. Dead Snow 2. A really, really fun sequel. I had a lot of fun with this. It's over the top, gory, bloody, but it's amazing. It takes place right where Dead Snow 1 took off, so it's like Halloween to Halloween 2. So that's pretty enjoyable. I didn't even think about that when we were talking about the Halloween series. The Dead Snow series is like that, but it's over the top craziness. 8.5
like the
out
first
of
one.
Yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Nightmare from 1981. Really interesting slasher type, Mulder type of a film. Really fun. 7.5 out of 10.
Great gore effects.
Yeah. Shakma. This is like a little unknown film that, from what I've heard on the podcast, this is the first time I saw it also, but it's interesting. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to ruin it, but 7.5 out of 10. Don't Look Into the Basement, released by Gorgon Video. This is okay. It wasn't my favorite film, to be completely honest, but check it out if you're interested in Gorgon and things like that. They're a pretty great company. 6 out of 10. Just Before Dawn. Really fun film. I know I picked this up on Blu-ray for Moodz from Code Red, so really fun. 7.5 out of 10. Audition. Now, this movie is extremely overrated, in my opinion.
Controversy.
I really don't see what the hype about the film is. I'm not saying it's a bad film, but I really don't see why everyone loves it as much as they do. Maybe it's not for me, or I just don't get it. But 7 out of 10. Next, I got Martyrs. I actually watched this a few times because I was doing a paper on it. Another film that I think is overrated. It's not a bad film by all means. It's actually really, really fucking good. It's saying a lot about a whole bunch of things like that. But everyone knows about Martyrs. I'm not going to talk about it. But I find this film interesting that it's really broken up into like three separate acts. The beginning up until the main character leaves the orphanage, from the murder until until the suicide attempt, and then from the suicide up until the ending. So I found it really interesting. This film's broken up into like three separate parts, a whole bunch of things that you could do with this one. 8 out of 10. I Spit on Your Grave, like we were talking about earlier. I watched this one in one of my classes. 3 people walked out. It's fucking awesome. We had a conversation on Thursday. People were appalled. They were pissed off that the professor showed it.
Are you fucking serious?
Oh
Jesus Christ! Like, so I agree that it's like there's moments where it's a little rough and stuff. But dude, my fucking grandma could watch I Spit on Your Grave. Fucking pussies.
Okay, JP, people aren't hardcore like we are.
I guess so. Sorry.
But
I think they just wanted to complain, is what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fantastic film, though. I really do enjoy it and appreciate what the film did for the genre, and it started this whole new, rape, revenge, oversaturation bullshit. 8 out of 10. Next, I watched. Also in my women in horror class, American Mary, another film that we talked about last year on the on the top 10 show that made my list. That would probably not make my list again if we did it this year. After rewatching it, I found out that some of the dialogue is really, 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 really bad. Some of the acting is pretty shitty as well. It just didn't do it for me like it did the first time. I realized the ending again was pretty shitty. I didn't.
Absolutely not. No way, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, my opinion definitely differs. I love the ending to American Mary. I think it ends perfect. It ends perfect. I didn't see any problems with the acting. Like you said, you rewatched it and noticed them. So I haven't rewatched it since I seen it last year when it made my list. But I loved that movie.
Yeah, the one scene that popped into my mind that noticed the bad dialogue scene is when Mary and the club owner sitting at the end of the film when they're talking about going to L.A. And it's just a really, really, really bad dialogue and really shitty acting on the part of Catherine Isabel. But there's some really flat, energetic dialogue in that film. Maybe my opinion will change again as I rewatch it a third time, but 6 out of 10. Next, we have another Soska Sisters film. I watched See No Evil.
You gave it a 6 out of 10, American Mary?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what you rated it last time?
Mm-hmm. 7.5.
Do you know for sure? Is that what you rated it?
I think it's 7.5.
You rated American Mary last time 7.5. I gave it an 8.5, and Moodz gave it an 8. So your new rating is a what?
6 out of 10.
Whoa. It's a significant drop.
Yeah, 1.5. Next, another Soska Sisters film. I watched See No Evil 2. I talked about this one 2 weeks ago, I think, a little bit when I said I watched it. Once again, it's average. It's good to see this franchise, given another sequel 7 years after the first one was made. But, it's okay. It's not bad. It's definitely not as shitty as ABC's of Death 2, that's for sure. Just on average, 5 out of 10. Next we got VHS Viral. I watched this one also. 2 of the shorts were really, really bad. Really, really,
Whoa.
really bad. But 3 of the shorts, or I think it was 2 or 3, I don't remember. I watched this when it first came out also, were pretty good. There were some alright ones. The wraparound story, pretty shitty. Not very good, but that's usually typical with the VHS series. Another average one, 5 out of 10.
Oh, man, that sucks.
I don't know, maybe your opinion will change.
Hopefully. I've never seen it, but...
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was really looking forward to that.
Saw again last night in theaters for the 10th anniversary. Film's still fucking awesome. I love seeing it again in theaters. 9 out of 10. Also watched Rosemary's Baby in my woman in horror class. Awesome film. Really enjoyable. It's just a fun film. Some of the dialogue is really funny. So 8.5 out of 10. Also watched The Exorcist. Another extremely overrated film in my opinion. Like I said, I appreciate what it did for the horror genre, but I watched the version you've never seen in class, and the spider crawling scene is this garbage. I wish
really
that wasn't in the theatrical cut, but it was in the the version you've never seen because they were able to digitally remove the wires that were holding Linda Blair's limbs like that. So, but I thought it's just you have the serious shit, and then in the middle of that you have this over the top fucking girl walking down the stairs in a freaking stupid spider thing.
I've never seen the version you've never seen.
And the first 15 minutes of Father, whatever the hell his name in Iraq, is fucking stupid and has nothing to do with the rest of the... I mean, of course it has something a little bit to do with the rest of the film, but you start out the film like that and you just shift tones like that. I do not like The Exorcist.
Whoa.
I do not like the film. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's been,
wow.
Maybe
crazy.
It's because it's been cemented into my brain so many times watching it.
This rating
6.5 out of 10.
I'm agree when I say I think it's overrated. It's not my favorite film. I don't like possession films, but it's the fucking Exorcist, dude. It's pretty hardcore, man. It's pretty well made.
I agree with that, and I think the white magic stuff that happens in the beginning of the film with the doctors is more disturbing than the shit that they do to Reagan at the end when she's possessed. It just was one scene when they put a fucking needle through her neck and the blood's like squirting out everywhere. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. This is like way before she's possessed. It's like, I would not want to be around back then when the medicine was like this, because it's like they weren't wearing gloves. I know this is way before the AIDS scare, but it's like they weren't wearing gloves. They're like, oh, blood squirting out of her neck. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10. And finally, I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show last night. Of course, Halloween. Gotta go see Rocky Horror Picture Show. Film's fucking amazing. Only way you could really see that film is if you see it with an audience and you throw shit and you throw rice and you do a whole bunch of fucking fun shit. 9 out of 10. And then I have my pick of the week that I'll do.
All right.
JP's Rapid Fire.
Whoa. That's a lot of content right there, guys. So
I feel like Moodz.
I have a little less than that, but definitely some interesting things I learned about you. 1, you think The Exorcist is like in the 6-something range. 2, you didn't like American Mary the second time you watched it. And 3, you crushed my dreams on VHS Viral. God damn it. So next, all right.
Good times.
I'll get going here. I watched Contagion from 2011. I thought this one was very relevant to like the whole like Ebola shit going on, and I was like, it kind of made me think, because I've never really been overly cautious about, excuse me, about like germs and stuff, but this one actually got under my skin a little bit, and I was like, whoa, it's more about the talking and the just, the process of, controlling an outbreak, stuff like that. There's not so much action in this one, or, dramatic moments. I think it's PG-13, but I love the, just the process, because that's what it's about in this one. It's about the fear of, oh my God, what would happen if this was shit uncontrollable. Overall, I liked Contagion. I give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, Ghoulies 4 finished off the Ghoulies quadrilogy. It's from 1994. This one was pretty bad, but I actually enjoyed certain things about it. I felt like, it fit the time really well, that 1990s, just, made for video, dumped in the, video stores with the boobs, or the girl in like the, leather dress or something, it's just crap, but, it has a little bit of charm to it. Overall, I don't know, man, 4.5 out of 5, or 4.5 out of 10. I'm probably going a little high on that one, but I found it somewhat entertaining. Next up, Kingdom of the Spiders from the year 1977. I really enjoyed this one. I feel like some of the best killer animal movies came out from the 70s. All practical spiders. Damn, there was a lot of spiders in this film. I'm sure they had to kill a lot of them in real life. William Shatner, I found that it was actually kind of effective in the scares. I'm not really afraid of spiders, but I thought they were used really well. Overall, a town being invaded by spiders was pretty good in this one, so 7 out of 10 on that. Next up is Orca from the year 1977. This is also another killer animal film. This time it's a whale. This is coming off of Jaws, and it's kind of one of those Jaws ripoffs. It's probably one of the better ones, but at the same time, there's just something nice looking about killer whales. I don't know if it's Free Willy ingrained in my head or what, but I just don't find them that threatening. And it felt like, as in Jaws, there was a reason to go after the shark and things like that. It felt like there was a reason they was in the water. Orca, it just feels a little forced, and I kind of wasn't buying it, but overall still pretty enjoyable. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. After that, we have Thanksgiving from the year 2009. I think this film has a lot of heart and charm, and I liked it. It's funny. I found that there was actually funny moments. The acting is shit. And the killer turkey is a character. They created a character out of the killer turkey, and that's something that I didn't see. That's just a little bit more of what you want when you're dealing with films like this, and that's why I compared it to Mutantis, because they created a character with the turkey, because they took something and created something out of it. They molded something in this film, and whether it be dialogue or a killer turkey or whatever, but I felt like it had substance, and that's why I give Thanksgiving a 5.5 out of 10. I do consider it above average. After that, we have Videodrome from the year 1983. I wasn't quite sure what was happening in this one. I feel like I need to watch this film again. Body horror, Cronenberg. I really enjoyed it. I felt like I wasn't picking up what he was putting down at some points though, and I felt like it was my fault, which is not normal. You know, sometimes I feel like it's the director just didn't convey everything correctly, but to me, I felt like it was my fault that I wasn't quite understanding.
It's because Cronenberg doesn't spoon feed things, man. He beats around with it and stuff. That's what makes him so good, though. Like, but he doesn't.
Yeah, but we can agree that sometimes people don't spoon feed, but also it's because they are actually using bad techniques filmmaking. This is not one of those cases, right? I mean, this is not spoon fed. You have to. It's just. I feel like that's exactly what I said. I felt like it was my fault that I wasn't picking up everything. And I feel like this is a film that you very much have to watch a couple times to really kind of get all the like symbolism and subtext and all that type of stuff that's going on in this film, because it's definitely there. You can see it. But overall, like, the effects were really cool and the concept was just so ahead of its time. I really enjoyed this one. But I just took points away because I really was kind of confused also, but it could be my fault. Rating 7.5 out of 10 on that one. Did you want to say anything else about that one?
No, it's fucking amazing. I love that film. You might need to watch it a couple more times.
Yeah, I was getting that vibe when I was watching it. I checked out War from the year 2013. I thought this one was really interesting because it had a kind of original concept. And it's because it's not your standard werewolf. It's not your typical kind of werewolf. It's more humanistic looking, and he gets a little more werewolf looking, but he just kind of has like a werewolf undertone to his body from the very beginning. And this is more like it's a disease. And basically, this guy's being tried for murder, and he's trying to, and there's these group of people who are trying to prove that it wasn't him. And I thought that it really worked out very well. Definitely give War a 7 out of 10. After that, The Blob, the 1958 one, very, very much a classic, very fun movie. And I felt like this one just had this, weird, like, camaraderie to it, with the characters. And I don't know, it just kind of had something different that you don't really see in films. Like, they're like the people that you think are like the bullies turn out to be actually like pretty good people and stuff. I don't know. I really like the original Blob. The remake's better, but I give it an 8 out of 10. And finally, the last one that I watched yesterday, and this is Jack-O-Lantern from the year 2004. This film is god awful. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen. There's just nothing to it. It is so amateur in editing, in the camera work. It's one of those films that you have to remind yourself to watch every 2 to 5 minutes because you keep drifting out of the film. And I felt like that I would just drift away. Oh, wait, I gotta pay attention. Drift away. Oh, wait, I gotta pay attention. And I did that through the entire running time of the film because it just doesn't offer anything. It's so damn basic and just awful. This is indie done like at the worst level. So yeah, I give this film a 1 out of 10. It's awful. Don't watch it.
Holy fuck. 1 out of 10. Jesus. That's lower than Entity, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Holy fuck, that's nuts. Alrighty, so, yeah. Warlock Moon from 1973. Unfortunately, this movie basically came out at the same time as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it got overlooked big time. Kind of the same premise. Guy and a girl take a trip up to the country. They come across this old abandoned spa. They soon find out that there's like an old couple living in the house. And that's all I'll say about, that movie right there. Or the plot and stuff. It's basically kind of your same thing, but there's a lot of things going on in this film that it kind of makes some twists and turns and stuff that kind of adds to it. Pretty well done, actually, for super low budget type film. I give it about a 6.5 out of 10. It's released by Shriek Show. Not bad though. I gotta say it was actually pretty enjoyable. Next film, Drive Through from 2007. Basically a horror type comedy.
I like this film.
Yeah, horror comedy. This one, it might take about 25 minutes to do the plot completely. So basically it's about like this, it's basically like a fast food restaurant mascot. He's like a clown. He's basically going around killing people, but there is a reason for it and
it's
stuff.
Like an evil Jack in the Box character.
Yeah, it's like an evil Jack in the Box. It's pretty interesting premise actually. And there's a lot of things that are actually kind of going on, like kind of supernatural weird things and stuff. And it was different. It was really different. Really fucking enjoyable. Good kills, some pretty good funny dialogue and stuff. I give it about a 7 out of 10. Next up, from 2012, released by Artsploitation Films, a film called Wither. It's from Sweden. This is basically the Swedish version of The Evil Dead. It's got the exact same plot. People go up to this abandoned this cabin out in the woods. They become possessed, and people start getting fucking killed. So not really original, but very enjoyable.
I've heard good things about that one.
It is, man. I mean, if you know what you're getting yourself into and you know the plot and stuff is not original, it's very enjoyable. I knew what I was getting myself into with this one. It's about the gore effects and just the possession and stuff. It's really good though. It's not bad. I really have mad respect for those effects that they did in the film. I give it about a 7.5 out of 10. Very enjoyable watch. Next up, I watched The Mummy from 1932, the Boris Karloff. What can I say? The Mummy's fucking amazing film. It's just, I love Boris Karloff's performance in this film. It's just fantastic. It's shot well, and it looks great too. They've cleaned this film up like masterfully. I give it about an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, next up here, Disaster LA. This is from 2014.
I've heard interesting things about this one.
I've seen this one all over the dump bins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fucking cheap. I didn't even really know anything about it. Came across it for like super cheap on Blu-ray, so I grabbed it. Thought I'd give it a shot. Expecting a very generic zombie film. Basically, the premises of the film is that a meteor hits Los Angeles. The vapors from the meteor start infecting people, killing them off, and they come back to life as zombies and stuff. Now, the first half of the film starts out really good. I think it kind of tanks off in the second half. It doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, they're obviously trying to escape LA, get the fuck out of there and stuff, but there's some of the decisions and some of the things that happen in the film just didn't really work for me. I will give them a lot of credit for it being such a low budget film. The zombies look fantastic in it. That was one really cool thing. The zombies looked awesome. Some of the gore and stuff was pretty good. But, just a little over average as an overall product. I give it about a 6 out of 10. Next up from 2007, I watched the remake of Funny Games. Everybody knows the storyline, home invasion film. But I remember watching this film when it first came out, and I really wasn't a big fan of it. But upon rewatching, this is actually only the second time I've ever seen it, and I really enjoyed it. I think the guys that play the bad guys in this film, I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I think they both do a fantastic job in this. They really do pull it off well. Tim Roth is good. Naomi Watts is good in it too. She's sexy as fuck. But I think the overall product of the film is actually, it works. And that part with the son fucking still got me, man. I was like, wow, it's brutal. 7.5 out of 10. Next up from 1982, Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker. This is released by Code Red. This is a really interesting film about a boy that's raised by his auntie because his parents were killed when he was about 2 or 3 years old in a car crash. So he's raised by his overbearing and overprotective auntie. Now he's about a senior in high school and he wants to move away to go to college and stuff. And she's really not wanting any part of that because she's got this really odd attachment to him, kind of like in an ancestral way. And he doesn't really see it, but like you can tell right away that she's just doesn't want him to leave for other reasons and stuff. And she essentially kills this dude that she claims that's trying to rape her in the film and stuff. And there's this whole investigation with this homophobic cop, and it's a really fucking good movie, man. Really interesting stuff. Highly recommend Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. It was right from the top, right to the end. It was just highly entertaining. You just don't really know where it's kind of going and stuff. But
I will say that when I got that in the mail to send to you, I was like, man, this looks so intriguing by the cover, and I really wanted to pop it open and check it out. Man, they're just so expensive though, right?
I know. I even told you, Joe, I was like, open that fucker up and watch it, man. It's a really good film, man. I really highly recommend it. I give it 9 out of 10. Really good.
Wow.
Good performance.
I might actually have to buy it.
The auntie in this film, her performance is fucking amazing. It's such a good performance. She's so believable as this crazy fucking, oh God, it's really good. From 1987, I watched The Curse. Starring Will Wheaton, basically about this fucking odd thing that kind of hits the earth or hits in their, they live on a farm. It basically taints. It's kind of like, I don't even know what it is. It's basically kind of like a meteor thing. Leaks out all this shit into all their food and stuff. And then people start getting all fucked up and dying off and shit like that. It's a pretty interesting film, pretty cheesy at times. I love the part when the dude bites into this apple and it's just like filled with worms and fucking gagged me like 6 times. Ugh, so gross.
6 times? That's quite a
I hate the thought of biting into an apple and just finding worms and the grossness inside. That just fucking gags me. Really enjoyable film though. Really cool stuff. 7 out of 10.
You're eating maggots. That scene always used to creep the fuck out of me when I was a kid, dude.
Yeah. Next up from 2006, I watched a film called The Tooth Fairy. It's essentially the Tooth Fairy story.
This is not the Rock one? This is actually...
Jesus Christ.
This is not the Rock one, no. No, it's basically about the Tooth Fairy. There's a whole backstory of the Tooth Fairy, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, it feels very much like a shitty TV film.
Isn't this the same film as Darkness Falls? Like, aren't they the same damn thing?
I think the stories are kind of different in these a little bit, not much though. I mean, the whole mythology behind the Tooth, like the evil or the Tooth Fairy being evil and stuff, I think is portrayed in both films. But this one's just executed kind of poorly, really, really poorly. Poor performances and stuff, and just things are happening, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't care. I don't recommend it. 4 out of 10. Check it out at your own risk. I picked it up because it was an original Anchor Bay release, so I grabbed it. So, next up, from 1971, a film called Fright. This one is starring Susan George, the beautiful Susan George. She is basically at this house babysitting this couple's kids, and then all of a sudden, the real father of this child shows up at this house and starts kind of trying to get in there, and he's acting all crazy and shit. He's from this like mental institution and stuff. Very enjoyable type film, man. I really enjoyed Susan George's performance is excellent. 7 out of 10. That's another original Anchor Bay release that actually David K sent me. Really, really fucking hard DVD to find. Thank you once again. Oh my God. From 2007, I watched a film called Study Hell. This is essentially the horror version of The Breakfast Club. It is absolutely fucking horrible. The film starts out with basically...
What's it called? Breakfast Hell?
Study Hell.
Oh, Study Hell.
So basically it starts out where it's showing a bunch of kids getting into trouble and then get sent off to detention after school and stuff like that. Then the film starts...
Holy shit, that cover looks terrible.
About this teacher that, you know, he's having some issues in his life and stuff like that. Anyways, the school forces him to do detention after school with these fucking bad children and stuff. But, oh my God, dude. So he shows up at class, and some of the dialogue that's happening between these 5 characters that I might add are identical to the 5 that are in the Breakfast Club. I'm not kidding you. They are identical. They even start saying some of the exact same lines. Word for word out of the Breakfast Club.
Like, what are you, a double dweebo?
So is it like that, homage, man, or ripoff?
It's just total fucking ripoff, man. I mean, obviously it was probably... I mean, people were obviously going to notice, so maybe it's like a homage rip. I don't know.
But maybe it was intent to be a homage, but it just comes off as ripoff.
Maybe. But essentially, this teacher that's having some issues, he's got, so kind of like some mental issues. They fucking push him over the edge, and then he starts killing people one by one and shit. It's fucking horrible. I just really hated this movie. Right from about 20 minutes into it, I couldn't stand it. I generally like these type of low budget films, but this one was fucking killing me. The dialogue, I mean, it was, so many things were just ripped off, and it was just bad. And 2 out of 10, horrible fucking mistake there.
The tension, you said?
It's called Study Hell.
Oh, I thought you said detention.
No, this is fucking horrible. It's bad. I also watched Nightmare from 1981. Jeremy just talked about it. Basically, he gave the brief on that one. I'll just give my rating. It's I give it about a 7.5 out of 10. It's a very enjoyable film. Really, really excellent fucking gore, man.
Yeah,
the gore is outstanding in it, like really good. Next up, from 2014, I watched Sharknado 2. Oh my God. You know, seriously, Sharknado was a ridiculous film. This one's fucking even worse, but it was pretty fun. The thing that kills me about this movie is the opening scene in this film feels like it's one of those dream sequences. You know, like sometimes when films start out, like Rob Zombie's 2, where it's like it's a whole dream sequence, and you're like, and it feels like that, you know, but you know it's going to come out of that, and you're like, oh, okay, that was a dream. It's not a big deal. This one starts out where Ian Ziern's character and Tara Reid, they're flying to New York to do a book signing based on the events that happened in Sharknado 1. And of course, fucking shit goes down, and you got the Sharknado and all these sharks and shit are fucking hitting this plane. And of course, Ian Ziern's character has to fucking land the plane and save the day. And it feels like a complete dream. No, it really fucking happens. It's fucking so brutal, man. I'm just like, okay. But yeah, there's like just one ridiculous moment after another in this film, but it was still highly enjoyable. It's retarded. 5.5 out of 10. It's stupid, but it's fun. From 1973, I watched Brian De Palma's amazing film, Sisters. Sisters is such a brilliant film. I won't go into the plot of it because I believe that Jeremy talked about it already. But the whole premise of the film is, and it's executed perfectly. Mm-hmm. I think everything about this film is just executed perfectly, with the backstory, with the sisters, the male gaze. Yeah, I think it's almost a perfect film. 9.5 out of 10. I give it. Definitely check out Sisters if you never checked it out. It's awesome. I watched from 2011. I believe you guys have seen this film also, and that's 247 Degrees. Yeah, I picked this one up recently.
1 year later, he finally checks it out.
Yeah, so, but
wait, when did we start?
Probably about this time.
Yeah, a year ago.
I think it was November.
So essentially, it's about a group of 4 people that get trapped in this sauna, and they have to
how they get trapped is so fucking stupid.
Oh god, the explanation for it is so stupid. It's so stupid. It was kind of enjoyable at times, but I think some of the dialogue is kind of and it does drag a little bit at times, and I think some of the decisions are stupid too. But I mean, also you have to disconnect yourself, because I think if you were put in that situation, you would probably act not like yourself either. But it was still okay. It was worth the watch. 5.5 out of 10.
Always bring water if you go into a sauna.
So I felt like that one was just not executed like super great. I thought that the ideas were good, just that it just didn't. They didn't portray these characters how I would necessarily do it. I believe me and Jeremy both gave that film a 6 out of 10 though.
Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't even look back what you guys gave it. So 5.5 I give it. So, next up from 1974 is Oliver Stone's first full-length film, and that's Seizure. Really, really odd horror thriller type film. It's really fucking bizarre about this dude that's
school.
What's that?
He was just at my school.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
So this one's about this dude that's having like these crazy ass nightmares, and then all of a sudden, all the characters from his nightmares kind of like show up at his house, or do they? He doesn't really know what's going on, and it's like this.
That sounds interesting.
It's a really weird one. It's like this executioner who's like, kind of looks like an executioner. And then there's this woman. She's like the embodiment of evil, basically. And then there's this small little dwarf, character. And he's this fucking total little shit in the film. And, he's actually the guy from, The Man with the Golden Gun, James Bond's film. So if you've seen that film, you know the little dwarf that's from that. But anyways, these 3 characters show up, and they just basically start kind of terrorizing these people, because he's got friends over at the time and that this is happening and whatnot. And you're not really sure if this is really happening, if it's in his mind, and what the motives of these people showing up are, why they're there and stuff. So it really does keep you interested right to the end.
Is he crazier than the dwarf in Blood-Sucking Freaks?
No, he's not that crazy.
I love that guy.
He's not that crazy, but there is some pretty interesting moments in this, and some explanations and kind of mythology behind of, what these may be representing and stuff. It's a really good film, really good first effort by Oliver Stone. I give it about a 7.5 out of 10. Next up from 2014, I watched Wolf Creek 2. Basically more of the first. It's, what's his face? I can't even remember the character's name right now.
Mick Garris?
Mick Garris is going around killing off foreigners, basically. He's
Canadians.
hell-bent on Canadians, yeah. In this case, he's Germans and a British guy, and stuff like that. So basically, it's more of that, him going around killing off foreigners, trying to protect his land. He doesn't want foreigners on the fucking land, so he's taking them out. It's got some pretty good fucking gore moments.
You kids stay off my lawn.
There's some really good gore effects in this, I gotta say. It was really entertaining. Really odd scene with this guy that he captures towards the end. He ends up playing like a trivia game with him and stuff, and every time he gets one wrong, he would fucking grind off his fingers, and oh fuck, man, this is brutal. Wow. highly, highly enjoyable. Really enjoyed it. 7.5 out of 10. It was a good time. Next up, I watched Proxy from 2014, IFC midnight release. I believe JP, you talked about this one on here.
I did.
This is one movie that I just do not know how to approach for a review because I don't want to ruin
Remember,
anything.
I was having that problem too, though.
Yeah, and I understand completely where you're coming from because you don't want to say anything. You want to tell people to just watch this movie. You know, you can give a basic premise to it. There's a girl that's about almost ready to pop. She's about 2 weeks due. At the beginning of the film, she gets jumped. A horrific fucking scene happens that's still embedded into my mind. I'll never fucking forget it. It's so brutal. God, I was just devastated when I saw that. I was like, holy fuck, that did not just happen. Essentially, she loses her baby. She goes to a support group where she meets this girl. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about this because you can't really go any further. I don't really know how.
I think a good description of it is it's about creating life and losing life.
That is a very good point. Very good point. So there's a lot of twists and turns in this. Very interesting structure to the film with the main characters. I would add into that.
Yeah, it's like two separate things though. It's like
it is.
Here's the story about losing life, creating life. Like it's awesome.
Oh, it's a fantastic. This movie actually blew me away. I didn't really know.
That's IFC midnight film.
Oh, God, it's one of the better ones. It's one of the. There's so many IFC films. I don't know.
Considering Maniac, dude. I mean,
yeah. But this one it held my attention for the whole 2 hours, and I will say I was quite surprised at the run.
Wow,
time
was it really that long?
It's 2 hours and 2 minutes, I believe. And it never lost my interest for 1 minute because it does feel like two different kind of films. And oh my God.
It's very artistic too.
It's done well. I thought the performances were good. I thought everything that was kind of going on and stuff. And like, it was a great fucking movie.
was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that guy, dude.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm just learning this though, but there's a lot of people who actually don't like that. Like there's kind of a strong hate for that guy and that whole like mumblecore group.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've just like started noticing that.
But like I said, like I was just so surprised at how well this film turned out for me. Loved everything about it. Everything about the film. I give it 9.5 out of 10.
Wow, I give it an 8. But I mean,
I just loved it.
It was a really good movie.
Affected me. It really affected me because I kept thinking about it after, and I was like, "Holy fuck, man! Like this is really doing something for me."
There's a few scenes in there that do stay with you.
Oh, big time. Big time. Next up, I watched another 2014 film called Blue Ruin. This one follows your main character. He's obviously homeless, living in a car, doing whatever and stuff. He gets word that this dude is getting out of jail that actually is responsible for killing his parents. So, and I'm not even too sure how much time has gone past since this guy's been in jail and stuff like that. Anyways, he gets word that this guy's getting out of jail by a police officer, actually. And so he basically drives to the state where this guy's getting out of jail. He gets some weapons, and now he's out for revenge and stuff like that. This one is a pretty interesting study on him. You start learning things about him and his family, and then also the family of the people that were responsible for killing his father and all these kind of things. So there's a little bit of twists and turns in this one. This is an excellent film. It's essentially a revenge film with a guy, but shot beautifully, executed beautifully, and I really think the performances are awesome in this too. Everyone does a great job. Really awesome film. I give it about a 7.5 out of 10. Next, from 2014, I watched Beneath, another IFC midnight film. This one was released by Mongrel in Canada, of course. Beneath basically follows a group of people that get trapped underneath about 600 feet down in a coal mine. And now they have to figure out how to get the fuck out of there or before their oxygen runs out and stuff like that, because I think it takes usually when this type of thing happens, they say about 4 to 5 days to dig people out.
Yeah.
So basically they're down there. They have, a compression unit and stuff like that. There's like a place that they can survive and stuff, but it's not really what you think this movie is. It's certain things start happening to people down there, and then people start getting killed off. It's kind of like an underground slasher type. I don't really want to ruin anything, but it's got a pretty interesting premise, and there is a story to why these things are happening to these people down there and whatnot. Very interesting film. It was nothing what I expected. I thought it was going to be more of just a strictly survival
horror.
Type. Yeah, exactly, survival type horror. But it's
that's
more
what I thought it was.
Other things that are going on in this one. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. 7.5 out of 10. Good performances too. And next up, I watched Mischief Night from. I don't know, 2013, 14 or something like that. This one is pretty interesting too, actually. Really fucking odd film. About a girl that, again, she is babysitting at this couple's house and whatnot. And, this dude shows up at her place. He's wearing like this white mask and starts kind of harassing her and shit like that. And I don't really think I want to say anything else, but I will. So this guy starts harassing her. She kind of fights back and stuff, and then they start kind of bonding on this odd level, and then everything kind of escalates from there. This is a really weird one because you expect it to be a slasher film, essentially, like a home invasion type slasher film type deal. It's set on, of course, Halloween, and it really doesn't turn out like that at all. It kind of has some really awesome twists and turns in it. Really good film. This is one of those After Dark Horror Fest films. And I do recommend this. It was really interesting. Kind of caught me off guard. 7.5 out of 10 again. 2014 Wrong Turn 6 I watched last night. This one, of course, is just another Wrong Turn film about a guy that inherits a hotel. And then he goes there with his group of friends and whatnot. And soon after arriving there, he finds out that he's actually related or he finds more about his family history and stuff like that, and then he gets more involved in that family history, and then shit kind of escalates from there, and people start dying off, and like they do in a Wrong Turn film. Pretty interesting film, actually. I got to say, I like the take that they took on this, and it was a pretty interesting ending too. So I think we'll see some more Wrong Turn films.
Awesome.
But no, it was pretty cool. The decent kills, some very odd things going on in it that I won't ruin for anybody, but I give it about a 7.
So was it at a resort? Was that
right?
Is
actually. Yeah, it's actually he inherits a hotel, and it's like a resort hotel type deal, and so kind of goes from there. Pretty interesting stuff. And last up for my list is a film from 1993, and it's called The Nostril Picker, also known as The Changer. I think the original title is The Changer. Massacre Video put it out as The Nostril Picker. Actually, they put it out as both. You can get a VHS of both. And it's essentially about this dude, this fucking lonely, weird creepo dude that's it's kind of has women issues. Obviously, he's hitting on women on the streets and stuff, not going anywhere with that. Anyways, this random like fucking homeless dude comes up to him, and he's like, he basically gives him the power to kind of change himself into what he wants. So he uses this power to change himself into a woman so he can become friends with women. So like, it's funny because on screen you see him as like this kind of middle-aged guy, but to them he's like this woman. So anyways, he goes to school, he becomes friends with all these women, and his motive is to basically become friends with them and, just kind of do whatever. But the thing is though, this old homeless guy told me, he said, if you use this power that I give you, it might make you a little crazy. So he turns into this woman. It does make him crazy. So then essentially he starts killing off these women one by one, eating them and doing like all this horrific bullshit to them and stuff. Man, dude, this movie's funny. It's like from 1993, but it feels like it's like from 1986. It's like really, really old feeling, super low budget, not shot on video. I think it was shot on, I don't really know what it was shot on actually. It's not video though, but maybe like a Super 8 or not even Super 8. I don't know. But so it has that like low budget feel to it, but really, really cheesy synth music and stuff. You guys would probably hate the shit out of this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was actually quite funny in parts. Decent gore and stuff. Not overly over the top and stuff, but 6 out of 10. Alrighty, so yeah, moving along into the pick of the weeks. Jeremy, you got yours?
Yeah. Sure. So the film I'm going to be talking about for my pick of the week was a film that Moodz actually talked about a few weeks ago. And that is a film released in 2014, shot in 2013, released by Synapse, that's titled Worm. This film is fucking awesome. I know Moodz really enjoyed it as well, but after he talked about it, I had to go out and grab a copy, and I was able to score one for I think I paid like $5 for it on eBay, which was a killer score. But as Moodz says, basically this film is about a futuristic world that the people who live in it cannot dream any longer. I know I said to Moodz and JP that they never really explained why these people can't dream anymore, and I know Moodz said, oh, it's not really important, which I guess it's not important after I thought about it, after I finished watching the film and things like that. So we never really know why these people can't dream. But they invent this thing called Fantasites or something like that. And
Fantasites, yeah.
Yeah. And they're like worms, and you put them in your ears, and it creates these extreme dreams and euphoria in the people who use them. And people start, of course, abusing them and things like that, and they finally get outlawed in the United States, I'd assume, where the film takes place. So after that, people, of course, start to try to hunt down these things on the black market and things like that. So we follow this character, Charlie. He's a really strange dude. He obviously doesn't have any friends or anything like that, and he tries to make friends with the neighbors and things like that, but he's just awkward. And of course he can't dream, so he goes to buy these worms, and he can only afford the cheap package instead of the expensive package. So he tries to be a big shot and talk up to his neighbor about these worms, and he ends up switching the worms and things like that. So of course they get outlawed, and he gets a totally different personality change because he gets addicted to these worms, and since you no longer could get them, he does things that he normally wouldn't do to try and buy these worms in the black market. So this film really starts out as a black comedy type of a film. It made me laugh quite a few times during the first, I don't know, even 3/4 of the film. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a darker type of a film. I did not expect to have any kind of black comedy aspects to it. But as the film goes on and we go to the final fourth of the film where Charlie's trying to get the worms on the black market and he's doing some pretty fucked up things, the film's message totally switches and things like that. And this film is really sorry, Moodz.
The tone totally changes in the last probably 25 minutes of the film.
Yeah. This film has a fucking brilliant message about consumerism in the United States, especially just in the beginning with the worms. Oh, you don't have the better worms, and then you have to try and be, try to impress your friends with having the biggest and best thing like that. And there's kind of consumerism messages spread throughout the film and things like that, which I found really interesting. I'd be curious. You could easily write an interesting paper on this film about the way it describes consumerism and things like that. But it's just a really fucking awesome film. Really nice release from Synapse. Not too much special features on it. This was based on a short film that was made in 48 hours, actually. So that's on there.
Did you watch the short?
Yeah, it's fun. It's the same actors and everything, pretty much.
And they look different though.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And then there's a commentary and some deleted scenes. So I wish they would have had a making of type of a featurette on it. I thought that would have been interesting to watch and things like that. But fantastic release from Synapse. If you guys could pick it up, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's a really enjoyable film, and it makes you think about the world that we live in and how much material goods affect our lives. Very awesome. 9.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, Moodz, do you remember what you rated it?
I think I also gave it 9.5, didn't I? Rather. I can't even remember actually, but I'm so bad with remembering my ratings. But no, it is really good, and yeah, the message on consumerism and stuff it's there. I like the. I guess they kind of have mini commercials for the electrolytes and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's very, very weird. It's a weird film.
Very strange film. Highly recommend it.
Cool. So I guess that's me with my pick of the week. And my pick of the week is a bit of a surprising one. It was definitely a surprise. And it is Oculus from the year 2013, released on video in 2014. This one follows a young man who's about 21 years old named Tim. He has just been released from a mental institution where he spent, give or take 10 years of his life, after some kind of, unfortunate events happened to him as a kid. He is almost sort of brainwashed into believing that, he really was crazy when his sister Kaylee, who kind of takes him into her home, is trying to convince him that no, you was right the whole time, that, and the, people in the institution were trying to get you to, believe that you actually did these things. Anyway, there is a mirror, and this mirror is kind of the source of all their pain and trouble and the source of what destroyed their family. Because this mirror is somehow evil or something. We really don't know. And Kaylee has decided that she is going to exonerate her brother, and she kind of sets up all of these different variables. She has many different cameras. She has room temperature settings. She has all these different sort of devices to keep the mirror from controlling them, because kind of what the mirror does is it messes with your head, where you see things that aren't really there. It's like a big hallucination. And essentially, the film kind of just is about her trying to convince her brother that he wasn't crazy, and she's also trying to stop the mirror. Now, what I liked about this one was it seems like it could have been very generic, like, ooh, a haunted mirror, right? But it's not. They actually go really deep into the mythology of the mirror, yet they never really explain what it is. And I just found that very intriguing, because the whole time...
That's interesting.
You want to know more about the mirror, and then you kind of realize, like, they're telling me so much about the mirror, but I still don't know shit about it. And I do feel like a bit of the dialogue when she's explaining the mirror is a bit manufactured. It seems kind of Hollywood, because she's just, this and this and this and this, and she's like so quick with it that it really does feel unrealistic. It kind of takes you out of it a bit. But I thought it was still really cool that she knew all this history of the mirror. And this one was really interesting in the way that it is also spliced with, the film is spliced with flashbacks, but what's so cool about it is that it never really lets you know when it's doing a flashback. So you're watching stuff that's taking place in present time with Kaylee and her brother, 21-year-old brother, and then all of a sudden you're watching a similar type of thing with them as kids, but you don't realize it right away because of how well done it is. Mm-hmm. Overall, I mean, I just really thought that concept was cool. The editing was really fantastic in the way that they did that. But I will say that it started to fall apart towards the later part of the film, where I was like, okay, now it really does kind of just feel like maybe like a haunted mirror film. But then something really awesome happened, and that was the ending. And I thought the ending completely saved this film from just being average to taking it above average, and really, really kind of escalating it to that pick of the week status. And I was super surprised with this one. Overall, I really, really did enjoy it. It was a cool original mainstream film, which was completely surprising. And this one definitely, I don't think gets the props that it deserves, because it really did something kind of different, and I really did enjoy it. It was really cool. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I was totally expecting you to have a higher rating after that. That was weird. I was like,
yeah, but Moodz, you've been looking for this film. I know that.
Yeah, to be honest, this movie has been recommended to me more than any film this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I still have not seen it. Like I said, I obviously don't own it, but yeah, I just haven't seen it or nothing. So.
And I think that sometimes I don't do a good job of kind of like foreshadowing my rating. I've noticed that a lot, that I do that. Like, I'll just decide to pick out certain things when really I should kind of structure it around like how I'm going to rate it. But I think the main problems was when it would just kind of remind you that like it was a film, or it felt like manufactured or almost Hollywoodish. And those things kind of annoyed me a bit. But I could possibly go up a little bit on this one. But I think I'm going to stick with the 7.5 for now. But I do think it's upon rewatch, maybe I could go up to an 8 or something.
It's always pleasant to hear that, there's a fresh mainstream movie out there. Mm-hmm. It's just so not that often that you hear like, yeah, that movie's actually really good.
And you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there was actually some really effective scenes of like cringeworthy stuff that I totally forgot about, because I watched this like 4 weeks ago, and since we didn't do any show, where I could talk about it, I saved it. But there was a scene where I believe it was in the trailer, where a character, this is just an example of the type of film and the storyline with this mirror. Basically, this character is eating an apple, and she's, monitoring the mirror. She sits the apple down, and she's changing a light bulb. And then she picks the apple up, and she bites it, and it's the light bulb. It's not the apple. And the apple is still sitting on the table. And it's fucking makes you cringe, because it's like, that sound where it's like glass crunching.
Yeah, crunch.
Yeah, and teeth. The scene in American History X where the like teeth scrape the curb? It's like that feeling. So I was like, yeah, you know what? X that. I'm actually going to change my rating right now. I truly am. I after thinking about it, this is definitely an 8 film. It's definitely a buy. I would say, grab this film. I plan on grabbing it. I actually rented it out of the Redbox, but I will buy this film because I really did like it.
Interesting. That might be the first time someone's ever like changed their rating after they gave a rating.
Exactly. I think. No, yeah, Jeremy's definitely done it a couple times, actually.
Has he? Okay.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out, man. It definitely sounds really interesting,
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I think you.
So visually, it's pretty good, though, too?
Yeah, and I think you'll actually appreciate the editing in it, because the way that they trick you, because the film is about a mirror that's tricking the characters into thinking they're seeing stuff that they're not. Meanwhile, you're being tricked as a viewer into not really knowing which era the scenes are taking place in, because it switches back to the flashbacks, and that doesn't really start picking up till late in the film. Like, it starts gradually where it's just like, when it's a flashback, but then when the climax is happening and everything's all fast paced, you're like kind of confused because it keeps going back and forth, but it's a good kind of confused because it's interesting. It makes it more entertaining.
Cool.
I just talked myself up a half point on a rating. That was pretty crazy. Normally it's the other person.
Yeah, that's awesome. Alrighty. So my pick of the week this week is a brand new film from 2014, and it's a Canadian film called Wolf Cop.
Yeah. It's one thing about this one.
It's one thing that, Canadians seem to do well is werewolf films, I guess. I don't know. This one's completely different as, such films as like Ginger Snaps and stuff, but it's got a pretty interesting premise to it. Basically, it follows your main character. His name is Lou. He's the sheriff of the small little town, like we're talking tiny town, called Woodhaven. This is all shot in Saskatchewan in Canada. I don't know if it's a real city or not. I've never been there, but anyways, Lou is like, he's not really the best sheriff in the town, the best sheriff out there. He has a drinking problem, like a severe drinking problem. Like, he likes to get shit-faced every single night and wake up in random places, and he's just not very good at his job at all. And the funny thing about him not being very good at his job is that he comes from a line of police officers. His father was like an excellent sheriff, excellent cop, apparently. And yeah, it just wasn't really passed down to him so, that well. And it's quite noticeable. And, you know, his coworkers and stuff and his boss, they kind of rip on him a little bit for being the way he is and stuff like that. So anyways, you know, you get introduced to his character. It's actually pretty comical the way they do it. But anyways, one day, you know, basically the biggest issues that happen in Woodhaven is like, there's like random little robberies and stuff, but they have like a pet problem. You know, people's pets always seem to go missing. And that's like pretty much all the action that happens in this city. But anyways, so he kind of feels bad one day that he keeps sending out his partner to do all these calls and stuff. And he just kind of abuses her because he's kind of an asshole. Doesn't really think about things. And, you know, she's always covering for him and stuff. But anyways, this one specific day, this call comes in and she's like, well, I might as well go to this call. And he's like, oh, never mind. He's like, don't worry about it. Sit down. I will go to this call. And she's like, okay, that's fucked up. So anyways, he goes out to this call. Soon after arriving at this disturbance call or whatever, he blacks out and he wakes up, like the next day. And everyone just kind of assumes that, you know, he doesn't show up to work because he's always late for work and stuff, that he was just on another drinking binge or whatever. And that's not really the case. He actually wakes up in this place and he's like all kind of disoriented and stuff. And he kind of starts growing like hair and like, you know, basically kind of transforming into a wolf and stuff like that. And then he eventually does. He goes like full blown werewolf and stuff. But the funny thing is he's still in the back of his mind, he's like, I still have a job to do. So now he's like wolf cop, right? But wolf the weird cop. So now he's like doing his job as a wolf cop. It's like completely ridiculous. And then basically, so his partner obviously figures out that he's like wolf cop, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck happened to him that night. Like, how did you go to this place, blackout, and wake up as a fucking werewolf? Like, what the hell happened? So him and his partner trying to figure it out with the help of like another one of his friends and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave the whole synopsis right there because I can't really go any further. There is like a whole explanation to what happens to him and stuff like that. And it's actually pretty cool. What's going on in the city. There's like all this kind of underworld stuff going on. Pretty interesting stuff. Now the movie's kind of in the vein of like, you know, Hobo with a Shotgun. It's not like full on grindhouse, but it has like, you know, comedic elements to it and stuff. Mm-hmm. That actually do work. I think a lot of the jokes are really funny, especially for Canadian viewers, because there's a lot of like just ridiculous Canadian jokes in there that, you know, other people viewing might not fully understand. So it's got that going for it, which is really cool and stuff. But overall, it's actually really fun and really well made, I have to say. I think everyone, you know, in the film does a really good job with the acting and especially the effects. Like the wolf makeup is fantastic. It looks really, really good. There's a fucking ridiculous scene with a huge wolf cock, of course, but I have to point out because it's so funny the way it happens, man. It's just ridiculous.
Is it a hairy wolf cock?
No, it's kind of like slimy and pink.
You know, I think of
like a dog.
Yeah,
Red
pretty
Rocket.
much. Yeah, Red Rocket kind of. But yeah, you know, it's a really fun film. Like, it sounds kind of ridiculous because, I mean, obviously it's a wolf cop. You know, the premise is kind of stupid, but the overall, like, you know, the actual story that comes out of it is actually pretty interesting. And, you know, it's definitely something that they could explore, you know, with a sequel or something like that too, which is pretty interesting. But I do highly recommend it. It's a fun time if you like werewolf films. It's a little different. You know, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek at times. Well, most of the time, kind of. But it's not, like, ridiculous. It's pretty fun. So, yeah, if I had to rate this one, I'm probably going to give it about a 7.5. Like, it's not mind-blowing or anything. The other thing that's interesting about this film, it doesn't really have any downtime at all in it either. It only runs about 75 minutes, so it gets right into the story, like, right away, and it's just, like, pretty much nonstop. There's some pretty good action scenes in this, and really good gore too. So, yeah, what can I say? It's Wolf Cop.
Sounds pretty awesome. I hope that gets
apparently it's supposed to come out in Region 1, I believe, like February, March time or something like that.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. Yeah, it's really odd why it's coming out so much later than the UK gets it, but who knows? But we are getting one, though, for sure.
It did have a cool cover.
Oh, yeah. The cover art's fantastic. There's actually quite a few different covers for this, but the art, like this original poster art, is amazing. Good shit.
I find it funny when they do like, like cop stuff, like Samurai Cop and Scanner Cop and Maniac Cop and Wolf Cop.
I just like.
I wonder how many there are.
Oh, there's got to be tons of them, man. There's Psycho Cop.
Yeah,
there's lots. But I just like the whole premise of this guy that he's like a shitty cop and he's like a total boozer. I just love that because, it's just so fitting to where he works. He works in this small little shit town with no action. So what do? You drink because he fucking hates his life.
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's a fun time. So I guess that's going to do it for our pick of the weeks and the show. So I hope everybody out there enjoyed the show. We talked about, I wonder how many films that we actually talked about in this episode.
I think it broke records.
I think there must be like at least 30 films or something like that. Maybe even more than that.
There's more than that, dude.
Yeah, because I think I
had 11
my quick cuts.
myself.
I had 20 or something like that at least.
And Jeremy was pushing,
I had like 20, 22, 23.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I didn't even write down all mine either. It's probably a good thing though.
Yeah,
it just would have went on way too long.
So
but anyways, guys,
that's next week's show is.
Do we know what next week's show is?
I mean, I know what it's supposed to be, but are we going to be doing that?
I don't think so. Okay. I really, really don't. So we're going to have to figure out something, but
yeah, it'll be a surprise.
It will be a surprise show. So once again, guys, if you
boy and his dog.
If you have any questions or whatnot, there's lots of places to leave them. Of course, emails, phone numbers, Facebook pages, whatever. Ask us questions. We'll, answer those for sure next week. So that's going to do it for episode 30. And Jeremy?
All right. So hope everybody enjoyed episode number 30 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. As always, if you want to follow the man Moodz himself, you can do so at youtube.com/NES. Oh my God. youtube.com/Moodz616 or click the subscribe button down below. I did it so good last week too. If you want to follow JP, aka the man who forgot about the Pee-wee's Playhouse movie announcement, you can do so at youtube.com/DoubleshotJ. And as always, you can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/NESRuler22. And you guys can also watch us on thedevilseyes.com. And as always, if you have any questions, you can email us at the 22 shots of moods and horror at gmail.com. It's 22 shots of moods and horror at gmail.com. And as always, you could follow us on Twitter at 22 shots podcast. And as always, you can leave us any voicemails you have at 724-426-6665. And that shall do it for the 30th episode of the 22 shots of Moods and Horror podcast. Hope everybody has a good week, and we shall talk to you guys again next week. Talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
724 all day, baby.
7 deuce foes. Weird actually being at home on a Halloween. I think that's the first time ever. I swear. So weird. Like for a Friday night.
That might be going at the end of the show.
Was that recording?
Yes.
No fucking way. Oh my God. I'm not going to lie. I had this butter chicken last night and I've had the worst gas.
Oh, JP, I love you for life.
It's been so fucking gross.
You made fun of me at the end.
I know.
That was a good edit in there too.
If there's funny clips, I usually try to save them and throw it at the end of a show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's just funny.
I think I can smell it.
Oh God, I bet you can. It's horrid, man.
Smell-o-vision.
Ugh. All right.